with Daniel Mayu at the QB spot.
Yeah, and this year I think you're going to see a little bit more concerted effort to air the ball out. Very, very skilled across the offensive perimeter for the Fratmen.
He felt his offense, especially the receiving core, had the most speed that he's seen in 17 years of coaching. They'll start on the ground, though, on 1st and 10. Up the middle for a gain of about 10. That time, Nash Prier.
Yeah, that's a nice start. We just talked about them trying to air the ball out a little bit and get a young offensive line some experience, maybe a quick throw. Instead, they just lean on him, and that was a nice run by Nash, who picked up the first down as they approach midfield.
That moves the sticks immediately to the 50-yard line. 1st and 10. Approaching 3 minutes into the action here on Weed Digital Productions. Fratmen and Grizzlies still tied up at 0. Allen calls the shots for the audible. 3 receivers on the left side. 3 in the motion. Allen hands it back off. Prier's met right up the middle, though, for a loss of 1 or 2.
I like the mindset. Coach LaChance must be seeing the same thing we're seeing up here from the booth. That's a very, very soft defensive front box for GTA. Unfortunately, it looked like Colton might have called a check with me. He might have picked the wrong side there. The end man on the line of scrimmage was unaccounted for there, and he just was able to slither into the backfield and create a 1-yard loss, bringing up 2nd down and long.
That was Michael Holzbosch that made the tackle on the play as well. Loss of 1 officially on the play for 2nd and 11. 3 receivers in the motion for Allen. Looks immediately to the left. Throws the pass. Up the middle. Deflected away. Rolled incomplete. That'll make it 3rd and 9 after the contested throw.
Yeah, and it looks like Cody Holmes is down. He may have, I'm not sure if he rolled an ankle landing awkwardly. He's holding on to something in his lower leg. That said, he is one of the guys that Coach LaChance said he's trying to get explosive plays down the field, and they tried to do that. I think Colton just sort of held on to it a little too long, allowed the safety to come over and make the play. And then it was undercut by the corner who batted the ball away, but Cody couldn't go anywhere because there was a high safety over the top, so it was probably going to be broken up one way or another. But you see Sean Haskett there just attending to him. Hopefully it's just more of a winded situation. Now that he's sitting on his back, he's not reaching for any of the lower extremities, so maybe just the hot day is getting to him a little bit, Justin.
Potentially, and again with Holmes, though, he's one of the newcomers, and one of the notable ones, should say. As we're going to have a replay showing that throw once again. You can see Allen again throws up in the middle. And you'll see Holmes in the traffic. You see that last hit there before he goes to the ground.
Yeah, and it was right. It was a clean hit. It was not to the head area. It was to the right part of his chest or shoulder. So he did get popped. So you never know if it's a shoulder injury or possibly a rib injury. It wasn't that malicious head contact, which is a good thing, and it looked like they pulled him up by his arm, so it mustn't be a shoulder issue. That's a good thing. He's jogging off under his own power. Hopefully he makes a quick return. Maybe it's just, like I said, hopefully it's just the weather conditions. It's a little warm, and it's the first game of the year. Maybe he's just a little bit gassed.
It's about high 20s, low 30s Celsius today, for reference sake, in the air. As now that will require the Windsor Fratmen to go to the backup punter, essentially, for 3rd and 11 to give it back to the Grizzlies side. Lots of pressure in the box for the Grizzlies. 2 return men back. Fratmen punt it low on the right side. Bounces its way out of bounds at about the 24, make it the 23-yard line. So a bit of a shorter field for the second drive of the game for the Grizzlies as they get back onto the field. One of the things that was noted, though, by Coach LaChance is the running game. He expected a little bit to step up with maybe a bit with the Grizzlies here, since there's a lot of that athleticism on the squad.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to which offensive line is going to be which defensive line. If you're going to talk straight run game, early, especially on a hot day, the defense is going to be favored just because you got linemen who, I don't want to say they're not athletes, but they're just not the most fit, if you will. So a hot day like today, you got to wear down the defense. It might look ugly early, but lean on them a little bit as you see Malachi bring his group out for the second time.
Malachi Morrison looks to pass, and a quick flag. And This is at the line of scrimmage, so the play immediately blown dead here.
Yeah, there's some miscommunication. This is going to be a procedure against the offense, and you'll see Bruce Carter announce it was the left guard.
You got procedure on the offense. Backing it up 5. First down, repeat it.
Yeah, the offensive linemen have to be set. Now, they can point things out, but the left guard was making some sort of sight adjustment call, maybe a protection call, which oftentimes it's a center who does that. The quarterback mustn't have seen his lineman making that call, and as a result, he was still turning his body and his shoulders, communicating. Quarterback called for the snap, and there's the procedure.
And that's going to make it a 1st and 15 instead of 1st and 10. Push back to the 20-yard line. Going to pass once again. Throwing deep down the sideline, but overthrown, incomplete.
Yeah, he had him there. It was a little bit of a foot race, a little bit of an overshot into the wind. It looked like Elijah Blythe was just a little bit late on his turn, but fortunately for the Windsor squad, it was an overthrow, and number 85 was unable to run under that. That's Isaiah Small.
Isaiah Small showing a bit of speed down that sideline, but that's going to make it 2nd and 15, though. Approaching 5 minutes into the first quarter here on We Digital Productions. Still no score in the action. Second offensive drive of the game for the GTA Grizzlies. 3 receivers in the motion. Throwing to pass. To the right side. Intercepted. Picked up by the Fratmen. Return across the 30. Big block at the 25. Flags thrown multiple across the field. Still trying to go on the return is Dalmas Lynch. Brought down finally about a 10, but again, multiple flags are down for a hard block at about the 25.
Yeah, now all of those blocks were post-interception. All those flags, I should say. So I'm assuming the interception by Dalmas Lynch is going to stand. An ill-advised throw. The quarterback just tried to throw it, and you'll see here on the replay that it was severely underthrown. Quarterback hung one out here, and Dalmas Lynch just clearly undershot. He came all the way from his corner position, saw the quarterback go, and now you have a couple positions
Roughness with a
where
blindside
you got
block.
a blindside block. You can't
On the
peel
receiving
back
team,
and hit
half.
people.
Ball possessed. First down.
And you just heard our referee say there was a blindside block. Anytime you have and what a blindside block is, you can't work back towards the ball carrier. Doesn't matter where it is. So if the ball carrier is going downhill, you can't work back uphill and hit somebody, whether it's in front or behind. It's a safety concern, and we all know the safety issue. So that's going to bring the ball back, and it's going to force the Fratmen, who pick up the first turnover of the game, to scrimmage in good positive position at the 35-yard line going in.
The flag was against Jordan Krug, one of the top defensive linemen, as a quick whistle before the snap for 1st and 10.
I don't think the chain crew was all set.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're still adjusting the chain on the near side of the field, and now they're saying timeout called.
So now it looked like, at least walking on the field, the player was walking on late for the Grizzlies, so they must have obviously only had 11 men on the field, resulting in that use of a timeout. So both teams have already used the timeout. We're only 5 minutes into the game, and both have already exhausted one of their timeouts.
An interesting start, to say the very least. Again, referee crew, Bruce Carter as the referee, Alex Jemmy the umpire, Chris Patton the head linesman, line judge Larry Rogers, Trevor Hayes, the side judge, back judge John Dodson, Kirk Hayes, the field judge here, as you look at the sideline for the Fratmen as they get ready for their second offensive possession of 2019. Colton Allen still at quarterback. Nash Prier at the running back spot as they set it for 1st and 10. Brady McCraney set right. Handoff to Prier on 1st and 10. Bowled forward for a gain of about 3 or 4.
Yeah, right back to that very first play, just an inside zone running play. They were able to pick up 4 yards, which is a reasonable play. Leaves a run option in the game if you want to do that. I think they're right on the edge of field goal range right now. So with the wind, they might try it, but this could be 3-down territory. I don't think they're going to exercise the option of punt if they don't get it. So run is definitely still an option here.
We'll have to see what they go with. It's 2nd and 6. Ball placed at the 31-yard line. 3 receivers in the motion. Prier back on the ground, running forward. Just enough by a yard or 2 for the first down.
Yeah, that's a good downhill run. just hand the ball off and let your guy find a seam. And once he finds that seam, his foot's in the ground. Nash Purr did a nice job of just staying on his track as long as possible until contact, and that easily picked up the first down.
8:52 to go in the first quarter as Allen continues to bring the offense down the field. 3 receivers back in the motion. Hand it back off to Preer. Up the middle. Pushes forward again for another gain of about 5.
And if I'm Coach LaChance and I'm the entire offense, I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, you have to keep doing that. Right now, what you're looking at is the GTA has maybe 5 men in the box, and the Fratmen have 7. They're outmatched. You can't keep running or playing that defense if the Fratmen are going to lean on you. I see it. I'm sure both coaching staffs must see it. That being said, if I'm Coach LaChance, I'm probably going to try this again. You have 2 downs to get 4 yards if you need it, as we see the injured defensive lineman coming off the field.
That'll be Rafael Ferrero, who is being brought off the field, you see there, with a quick stoppage. That allowed Coach LaChance to speak with his quarterback and Allen to get the play in for the 2nd and 4 at the 17-yard line. 3 receivers back in the motion. Allen pump fakes, looks to the right side in the end zone. Touchdown, Fratmen.
And the minute GTA brought an extra body into the box, they walked down a safety and moved a linebacker in. So now they advantage in the Fratmen. You're going to likely see man coverage on the outside. And now your athletes take over. And Cody Holmes was able to run just a little fade from the slot. And that's difficult to defend on a big field here in Canada. And you see Colton Allen on the replay. Just throw it on his outside shoulder. That is as simple as possible when you have a 20-yard wide end zone or deep end zone. Real simple play. Now they're going to try to convert it. It looks like it's, again, the touchdown receiver is Cody Holmes, and he's going to try this extra point.
Cody Holmes back into the game and will now have the extra point blocked. So it's 6-0 Fratmen. And again, the thing with Holmes, again with him, is someone that is notable because he has junior experience from British Columbia, did play collegiately with St. Mary's University, one of the big key assets brought in by the Fratmen in 2019.
Oh, absolutely. A tremendous athlete. He can do just about anything. He can line up at running back. He can throw the ball. I'm not saying they have any kind of halfback type pass or any kind of wide receiver hitch pass, but the reality of it is you have an athlete, you try to get the ball into their hands. Think player, not play. Sometimes it's as simple as that. And if you do see, and Coach LaChance right away, and good on Colton Allen to see that as well, the 2nd down and 4, they bring extra men into the box to try to stop the run. You know you have man coverage. Easy pitch and catch.
And now, all of a sudden, again, the Fratmen have the first score of the season in this matchup. Approaching the halfway point of the first quarter as they give it back to the Grizzlies here. Kicking it away is Holmes, and a whistle before the kickoff once again. We'll have to see. It's a signal again around center field. It looks like the signal was made by Bruce Carter as they will have to line back up for the kickoff, I believe, here.
Yeah, in this country, you can't kick off unless you have 12 on 12. So I don't know if GTA had all 12 players on the field. The referees have to count and they have to check. So you may have had the side judge blow it dead simply because they didn't have the right number. That's why you don't see a timeout called. There's no flag on the play. But now Mr. Carter is now checking with all his officials. He does indeed have 12 on 12 whistles blown in for play.
Holmes will kick it back away. This time, though, with the onside. Bounces off a couple hands. Returned by one of the linemen. And brought down to the 32-yard line. That time picked up by Mark Straw. As here comes the Grizzlies offense once more.
And we'll see here on the replay, just a low bullet. Just a low bullet. The up back couldn't handle it cleanly. It took a bounce to the left side up back, number 44, Straw, and he was able to pick up maybe 4 yards. At the end of the day, a kick like that is never going to be an issue if it bounces sideways, simply because you can never really set a return wedge, and then the coverage gets there. Even though you're giving up mid-30s field position, you're never going to have that return for a touchdown. So I'm more than okay, especially early in the season. Kicks like that usually give your team the comfort of knowing you can cover the kick without giving up the big return.
Meanwhile, the Grizzlies look to try and recover after the big interception. Morrison sets up a quarterback, hands it off on first down. Quick run, tackled down. Minka Abdullah on the play. And a gain of a couple brings it to a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that was a nice job by the Fratmen. It looked like that was number 7, Lawaya Lako, who came in and knifed under and made the first little trip of the running back, which really negated any momentum going forward, which limited the gain to only 2 yards.
Yeah, with Lanko, a member brought in from a former member of the University of Windsor Lancers, I should mention, returning to football, wanting to replay the game here, the 22-year-old now for the Fratmen playing defense this season. 2nd and 9. Headed back off of the run once again, Abdullah. And only a gain of another yard or so brings up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, and that was right into the interior. It looked like there was a little bit of a slant stunt by the Fratmen defense, and that looked like that was number 52, Josh Allen, who just plugged up the middle there. And again, maybe picked up a yard and a half, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and long in the punting unit once again.
Grizzlies setting up for the punt unit once again here. Gagan Baines will set up deep. 2 return men for the Fratmen. Snap is low on the punt. Gaines puts it up in the air. A decent boom. Bounces its way past McCraney. McCraney picks it up. Flag on the play, as that's going to be brought down at about the 28-yard line, but that flag is to be expected with the rules of Canadian football.
Yeah, you're going to get the 5-yard no yards there bouncing around, and it's very difficult. You'll see here on the replay, once the ball starts bouncing sideways on this kick, you get all the defenders who, they don't know where it's going to bounce. It's not a perfect circle, so they're trying to get out and break down, and they have to give 5 yards, and as soon as it dies, you know there's always going to be somebody in there.
Kicking team up 5 yards. First down.
And there's the confirmation. Yeah, so it's only a 5-yard penalty, which I guarantee you every special teams coach is more than happy, because now you only had a 5-yard return. So decent enough kick to put the Fratmen back on their own 34 to start their next possession.
Allen still in a quarterback for 1st and 10. 6 minutes to go in the first. Hands it off to Preer. Preer dodges right. Tries to bowl his way through the defensive line. Brought down for a gain of about 8. A strong run for Nash.
Yeah, and you know what I did like there? I saw the offensive linemen staying engaged. It wasn't just a one-pop push, so they went into the line, and Nash didn't necessarily have too much of a seam, but the linemen kept pushing, and the pile moved forward, and it turned out to be about an 8-yard gain. And now I do notice there's some big bodies who've just checked in, so I'm looking at a heavy set here for the Fratmen, and that is indeed the case. As you look at it's number 2. Jalen Butcher, who goes under center for their short yardage duties.
They actually have Josh Allen as well on the field to try and push forward. Will they get the yards? Still scrambling around to the defensive lineman. And a flag is down for a late hit after the whistle.
Yeah, this is... I don't know if they got that initial yards, first of all, because that's going to dictate whether or not the flag is applied after. So we'll see here on the replay that it was sort of stalemated and pushed back. So I don't think he got the first down, but then you do get a late penalty after. So here's Bruce Carter indicating we have a rough play against Windsor. But the big one is if it's not a first down, this is going to severely back them up. If it was a first down, then at least they get the first down and they pick it up because it was after the yards gained, but there's no yards gained here. So the play is going to stand, and then they're going to back up. This is going to be 3rd and...
unnecessary roughness after the play. Backing it up 15 yards. 3rd down.
And that's the huge part of it. The play stood, so they did not get the first down, and because it was unnecessary roughness afterwards, they are going to now count the down, which is going to make it 3rd down and 16, unquestionably a punting situation. So another bad decision by a Fratmen player early in the season. They're trying to be aggressive. They're trying to finish off the play. They're going through the whistle. This lay off. It was so far away from the play, you didn't need to shove the guy down. On that same token, I didn't think it was that violent, so the ref could have just easily kept it in his pocket, but it is what it is.
Either way, this is going to allow good field position potentially for the Grizzlies. Punted away, very short punt to the 45 of the Fratmen. So that one sailed right out of bounds. That appears to be Brendan Bondi, I should rather say, that made the punt. And the Grizzlies are going to have their best field position of the day after that.
Yeah, so you compound the mistake, the lack of push on that 2nd down play, and it results in tremendous field position for the Grizzlies. If the Grizzlies can somehow manage to tie up this game, maybe take the last 4 minutes of this opening quarter and use the wind to their advantage in the 2nd quarter, you never know. They could take a lead into the half. Even though they've played some sloppy football, they've turned the ball over, and it looks like here they just don't have enough men on the field.
Morrison sets up here as it looks like the Grizzlies trying to communicate things on both sides of the field. 2 receivers in motion. Headed off in the rush. Abdullah tries to cut right. Dives forward. Gets a gain of about 2 for 2nd and 8.
That was a nice try, at least making something out of nothing. The initial play was supposed to go on an inside zone running play, but I was correct. The Grizzlies only had 11 men on the field, so they ran the play with 1 short. Now you see the extra body coming into the huddle here on the replay. Initial surge got the hole plugged, and it looked like it was number 52, once again plugging that hole, Josh Allen. But the running back did a nice job of bouncing that to the outside and making a positive out of a negative.
Yeah, and so far he's been looking, while not a lot of yards already, has been looking very impressive trying to bounce to the outside. Meanwhile, pass 2nd down, flag on the play as the Fratmen get to the QB for the potential sack. However, again, flag was at the line of scrimmage after the snap.
Yeah, well, it's likely going to be an offside. We'll see the replay after the call here from Bruce Carter.
Yeah, an offside on the offense. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Yeah, that's another slot receiver going offside, so the sack is going to stand, and that's going to push the Grizzlies back, so they go from being in a positive situation to now being near midfield, and they're going to have to punt. If there is one thing they can hopefully take advantage of is this wind, maybe punt and pin the Fratmen deep into their own corner.
That was Blake Olet who got the sack, but the Grizzlies give the ball back to the Fratmen on the punt. Bounces at about the 26-yard line. Fratmen pick it up. No yards, flags thrown on the play. So that will only move it to about the 35-yard line once again for this next drive.
Yeah, not a very good kick. It turned out to be a 15-yard flip and field position. I'm sure that's not what the coaches wanted from the Grizzlies. That being said, they're still in the ballgame, despite some sloppy play, despite some mistakes. Here's the call from
No yards in the kicking team. Up 5 yards. 1st down.
Yeah, and that's a simple one. Again, I never hate that call as a special teams coach. I'm okay with the 5 yards there. But the punt wasn't very good. Did not take advantage of the sort of field position they established. If they could have tried to punt it into that corner, maybe get a bounce to turn over, force the Fratmen to go to a long field. But they are going into the wind, so maybe the wind hung it up a little.
Yeah, the wind is gusting very strong right now. As Allen, 1st and 10, throw up the middle, complete. Jared Hayes-Williams brought down at about center field for a big gain for the 1st down.
Absolutely love that route. You clear out with a couple of the guys, get vertical, and as the linebackers either step up to pick up or widen out, you just drag across the field, and you get number 15, Jared Hayes-Williams, trying to take over for what his brother did the last few years, Omar. An easy pitch and catch, and got the ball to midfield. Nice, simple play.
A good route sets up the 1st and 10 at the 54-yard line. They mark it with 2:15 to go in the 1st quarter. They'll put Jared Hayes-Williams on the outside of the right side of the field. Moving to the left side, Holmes. Allen throwing it up to the sky to Hayes-Williams. Incomplete.
Well, I think that was a bad route and a bad throw. I don't think that they were on the same page there. I think that Jared pushed too far to the inside there, and he had to flip his head around, and he couldn't get to the outside fast enough. And I just do think from the position on the field where Jared lined up, I think Allen just threw that way too far to the sideline. That probably should have been more of a go throw rather than a fade throw, because he had a lot of room between the numbers and the sideline that Jared possibly could have run under that.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do now on 2nd and 10 after the failed fade route as Allen tries to work with the team. Looking to pass on 2nd and 10. Steps right in the pocket, throws in the motion, incomplete. Intended again for Hayes-Williams, but that will again bring up 3rd down in the punt unit.
All right, let's take a positive out of that this early in the season. The offensive line doesn't do a terrible job. There was some instant pressure, but not in the face. So it allowed Colton Allen to step up into the pocket, which he did a nice job of stepping up, then slid to his right. What I've liked to see him do at that point in time is at least turn his shoulders just a little bit more to deliver a little bit more of an accurate throw with a little bit more pop. Because had he hit Jared in stride there, I think Jared could have got the 1st down as the punt unit comes out.
Now bring Bondi back out once again with a minute 35 to go in the 1st quarter. 2 return men in the backfield for the Grizzlies. Sent deep to about the 15-yard line. Decent bounce. Picked up by Clarkin. Clarkin tries to move forward, brought down to the 12-yard line. So very tough field position for GTA for this next drive with a minute 18 to go in the frame.
All right, so if you're the Fratmen defense, what you want to do is 2 and out. 2 and out will force a punt into this wind and likely give you field position in the positive. On the flip side of that, the Grizzlies really would love a couple 1st downs here to get out of this quarter. And at the very least, if they have to punt again, they'll be punting with the wind. Again, at 6-0, you're one mistake away from this turning into a huge play for the Grizzlies. If the Fratmen are caught flat or they miss a tackle, Grizzlies could take this right to the house, because like Coach LaChance was concerned about, they do have some athletes. They haven't really shown it yet, but they definitely have some athletes with some explosive playability.
1st and 10 with 56 seconds to go in the frame. Ball at the 13-yard line. Morrison hands it off once again, a run up the middle, again a gain of a couple yards. Maybe 1 at the most. So it'll be 2nd and long once more on the run by Abdullah.
Yeah, it's a passive play call. They're just inside run play. It hasn't been there. That's probably the strength. The linebackers, the athleticism, their size. The Fratmen force unit is going to be pretty good in that regard, and I don't think that that's something they want to do. I think they want to try to stretch them, force them to play contained football, make them come up the field, maybe do a couple misdirection things, but so far the Fratmen have negated any kind of real run game.
2nd down, this time throwing to the left side of the field, jump ball, incomplete. That time it looked like indeed intended for Pius Adarkwa on the jump ball.
Yeah, and that was just good defensive position. There was nowhere to go with that. The ball had to be thrown perfectly, and it would have been contested anyway, because I believe it was number 20, Dalmas Lynch, was in position there to defend it. So the Fratmen did exactly what they needed to do. There's only 4 seconds left on this clock, which means even if it runs to 0 in this country, the play will still run on a dead timer, and they'll have to punt from their own end. I'll be curious to see if they actually concede the safety here, but my guess is they are going to try to let this go.
And we'll see what they do. They are going to get away from the safety, it looks like. Picked up at about the 47. Returned down the sideline. Dante Lewis trying to dart forward, brought down at about the 33-yard line. As that'll bring us to the end of the 1st quarter. After 15 minutes of play, the Fratmen lead 6-0 from Alumni Field in Windsor, Ontario. We'll be back after these messages on We Digital Productions.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of Fratmen football. The Ontario Football Conference, 6-0 is your score after 15 minutes of play. Justin Prince alongside Paddy Quaz as we get ready to start off the second quarter. Fratmen with great field position starting at the 23-yard line after a strong return by Dante Lewis as they'll set things on up. Holmes in the motion from right side to left. First down, running play. Nash Prier goes across the 20 to about the 19, maybe the 18 for a decent start of the drive.
Yeah, and that hole actually looked a lot bigger from this angle than it ended up turning out to be. I thought he was going to be able to get at least 7 or 8, 9 yards, but it turned out to be about a 4-yard gain. Still a positive run, but good job by the defensive line squeezing that down a little bit, getting hands on Nash, and in addition, the linebacker closing up pretty quickly because that hole looked bigger than the play ended up turning out to be a 4-yard gain.
2nd and 6 now, about a minute into the second quarter. Dante Lewis in the motion, brought to the right side of the field once again. This time, Allen throwing, flag on the play. Throw to the end zone is caught by Mike O'Ryan. It is signaled a touchdown, however, there is a flag on the field from the line of scrimmage.
It looks like an alignment issue. I think the Grizzlies were lined up offside. We'll get the official call here from Mr. Carter.
Offside on the defense. Up 5. Second down, repeat it.
Oh, that's a correction. He'll have to replay that and say that was a touchdown because the ball was indeed caught. It is a major score here.
And the second touchdown of the season for the Fratmen, to second passing TD for Allen so far. It's the Fratmen offense clicking early on as they look to try and extend the lead even more so with the extra point. Again, first extra point of the season was blocked, and now it looks like Allen is passing here. They're going to go for 2. Allen, 2-point conversion, incomplete, intended for Hayes Williams. So it will be 12-0 with 2 touchdowns on the board in the air so far for Windsor.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to see. The quarterback did get a hit on him on that 2-point play.
But let's take a look first off again at the GTA Grizzlies schedule. This is after today's game. You can see they go a bit back and forth on the schedule for 2019. They're taking on Niagara next week, then Hamilton on the road, Ottawa at home, London on the road, then Windsor, Hamilton, Ottawa to end off 2019's regular season.
Yeah, it's a pretty balanced schedule because they're in the general Toronto area, the greater Toronto area. They're not going to have too many travel times to really worry about. Everything's going to be within a 3.5 hour drive from where they're at. So it's a favorable schedule for them. Regardless of what happens here, that home opener next week against Niagara is going to be critical for them. They need to win their region. They need to win that game right there, get on a little bit of positive note. Again, it could be building on the positive from today because they could still win this. Even at 12-0, they could win this game. If not, it's to get them in the win column if they do end up losing this game. But it's a pretty balanced schedule there.
Indeed, right now as they set up for the kickoff here, Cody Holmes again will set up. We've seen a lot of times Holmes go for onside and squib kicks so far today for the Fratmen. We'll see what he elects to do this time, with his team up by nearly 2 scores. This time elects to go for a hybrid of sorts. Picked up about the 37, forced to dive on it though with the Grizzlies as they keep it at about the 39.
Fortunately for the Grizzlies, they were able to jump on that. If the sort of sideline return man would have been able to handle that cleanly, and not usually a return man lined up there, it went right through the wickers, right through his hands, and if he would have just caught that, he probably would have maybe picked up 7 or 8 yards, they'd be closer to the 45-yard line. As it turns out, they still have good field position, but fortunately for them, they actually kept possession because that ball was bouncing around, and there were Fratmen jerseys near that loose ball.
That was Kenley David Rude, who was trying to search for the ball on that play. The offense, though, will start up at the 39-yard line once again. Looking to try and secure one of their first downs of the season here on this drive. Couple minutes into the second quarter here on Windsor Productions. This time they're going to pass on first down. Throw up the middle, deflected around, intercepted. Picked off for the second time of the game, this time by Helrick. He'll be brought down about the 42-yard line, but Caleb Helrick gets the second interception by the Fratmen today.
Yeah, they just tried to hit a little drag, dig route over the middle. Very, very smart heads-up play by Caleb. He didn't go for the big hit. He made a play on the ball, and it popped up, and he fell right into his hands. In the old days, that would be what was called a kill shot. You go send the message to lay the guy out. He's never going to go over the middle. Very disciplined, not going for the big hit there. He made a play on the ball. Not a great throw. The ball hung up a little bit, but Caleb was able to keep his concentration and his balance and set up the Fratmen with a good starting drive here at the 41 going in.
Allen stays at QB here as they'll move Holmes from right side to left. Allen throwing on first down. Down the sideline, wide open. Hayes Williams strolls into the end zone for a touchdown. His second receiving TD of the day gives the Fratmen an 18-0 lead.
And as soon as Colton Allen sees that motion across from Holmes, he knows he's got just sort of ISO coverage on the outside. These big, tall receivers, he's just throwing it up for grabs. That's not rocket science there. Colton doesn't even have to read anything. He knows the safety is gone. If that corner stays flat-footed and is out of position, which clearly he was, that was number 26, Message Wellington. It was just a bad situation for him. He just watching the quarterback as the receiver ran by him.
Meshach Wellington again on the coverage there on the play with Hayes Williams making the catch. Fratmen, though, again are going to go for the two-point conversion. Allen looking to pass, this time up the middle, wide open. And that'll make it 20-0 on the catch by Dante Lewis.
So now we're getting a bunch of different players into the game now. And the one thing I did speak to Coach LaChance about, he was talking, and you'll see here on the replay, just a little bit of slant over the middle of the field as the Fratman schedule is about to come up. Just get all his athletes involved, and already you see 4 of them involved.
Indeed, 20-0 start so far. But again, let's talk about that Fratman schedule as you take a look here. You can see they go back and forth essentially, going on the road to Ottawa, back home against Niagara, on the road to London, back home against Hamilton, on the road to play GTA again on the 22nd, back home against London, and then on the road to Hamilton. So back and forth they're going to go here essentially, up and down the 401 for 2019's regular season.
Yeah, I know we have highlighted September 22nd, but September 14th is the highlight. When they have to play Hamilton. That's the defending champs.
A lot of pressure in that game as the kickoff return by the Grizzlies. This time, Abdul on the return, across the 45, knocked out of bounds at about the 46. So decent field position for the Grizzlies with just about 3 minutes into this second quarter here. But the Grizzlies yet to get some offensive production going, it seems.
And I think that's probably the biggest reason why you'll see here on the return. Well, first of all, when you do catch it cleanly and you're able to get some forward progress, usually a seam opens up, and that's exactly what happened up the left hash mark, and he was able to work up the left sideline. So they got good field position. But you said it correctly, Justin. The offense has not got anything going, which means the defense for the GTA is getting worn down a little bit. And it's a hot day. You have to get a couple first downs here to give your defense a little bit of a breather. If they're 2 and out again, Fratmen are going to score and score in a hurry.
1st and 10 at the 43 this time. Screen play on the pass incomplete. That time intended for Freddie Malign. And now it's going to be 2nd and 10 on the pass intended. It looked like for the flat, actually.
Yeah, well, even if that ball was caught, there were 3 defenders right there to make the tackle for the Fratmen. It wasn't a well-designed play, or at least it wasn't a well-blocked play. Because as you see, even if he catches it here, you got 3 Fratmen defenders. There's not a single person to block for the young man. So catch, no catch, doesn't really matter. They weren't going to gain a drop of yardage on that one.
That'll move it to 2nd and 10 all of a sudden as they continue to try and find production in the air. Morrison sets up on 2nd and 10. This time hands it off. Flag on the play. Abdullah runs up the middle, up to the left side, brought down to the 41. So a decent gain on the ground. However, another flag is down to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this one I think is going to go against the Fratmen. I think you had a Fratmen player offside. We'll get Mr. Carter. Oh.
And this is going to go against GTA, maybe.
It is.
We had offside on the receiving team. Back 5, 2nd down. Number 8. Number 8. No, he left early. He left early.
Okay, so we're getting the call that it was going to be
Adarkwa.
Pius Adarkwa who was offside. He must have left a little early. It did look like there was a defensive lineman who jumped. Maybe he wasn't in the neutral zone. Could have been lined up a little further back. What a break for the Fratmen, because that little inside delay draw went for about 35 yards, and that negates all of that and puts them in the 2nd and long situation at 2nd and 15.
And that would have been the best amount of yards gained on an offensive play so far today for the Grizzlies. Now moving instead to 2nd and long. This time passing. Quick throw. Running around the left side of the field. It's Isaiah Small. Push it to bounds, and more flags are up in the air.
Now it's going to be a first down because that's a late hit. He was clearly already stepped out of bounds. You saw the referees waving their arms, and then you give him that extra shot on the sideline. That's going to give much needed rest to this Grizzlies defense, and it's going to give them a first down, likely near the 50-yard line going in, because it's going to tack on after the play.
And here's the call.
Unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds on the defense. Up 15, first down.
And that is a gigantic amount of yards picked up. All of a sudden, the chains will move all the way into Fratmen territory.
So this gives the Grizzlies a little bit of life, because now if they can keep their offense on the field, get a little momentum, maybe score a touchdown here as they have the wind, they can get right back in this game with one good drive.
1st and 10 at the 48. Handed up the middle this time, but tackled quickly for a loss of 1 or 2.
Yeah, very difficult to get your forward momentum going when you have a high snap. And that was number 5, Anthony Garib, who made the nice tackle in the backfield.
As they set it for 2nd and 12, today's game is presented by Harold Remark and Royal Page Binder Real Estate. With more than 20 years of experience, Harold can help you find your perfect home or property. Contact Harold today by phone at 519-733-1028 or view his current listings at royalpagebinder.com. 2nd and 13 is the call on the field. Ball placed at the 51-yard line. Approaching 5 minutes into the second. This time going on the run play. And another flag up. But either way, a loss of a few and a hard tackle on Abdullah.
Yeah, this is offsides again. No question about it. Another receiver jumping ahead of it as Connor Sykes makes a nice play in the backfield. So they're going to decline this, and there's the indication from Bruce Carter. Here's the official call.
Okay, we had offside on the offense. That penalty's declined. 3rd down. 89.
So again, that's going to make it 3rd down as referred to. But take a look. Hard shot.
Yeah, it was just good play by the defense. The defense collapsed from the outside in, forced the running back to only go in one direction, which was real simple. He had to go up the middle. He had a nice strong fill from a linebacker who makes a nice solid hit. Running back was banged up just a little bit on the play. But now they have to punt, and if they can pin them deep, at least they can get a positive in that they flip the field position. But their punting game has been a little questionable or suspect so far today.
Have to see how they are this time as they punt it away. From just past center field, over Lewis's head. Flag is down on the play. Ball knocked out of bounds at about the 6, maybe the 5. But the flag is down at the 11 or 12, right where the return men were set up on the field.
Yeah, it looks like the flag came out right away and early. Oftentimes, that's too many men on the field.
They did bring Mitchell Ryan right onto the field before that play started.
So, if indeed that is the case, because once it's immediately on the snap, there's really only one thing. If it's not an offside at the line of scrimmage, if it's from your back judge, it usually is too many men on the field. But I did count only 12. Now, did somebody come off or try to come off after the gates were up? If you're still on and the ref has not cleared you off, then it is indeed a penalty. But they're conversing here and they're going to talk it over.
And here's the official call once more.
Back to the line of scrimmage. Repeat, third down.
So either way, it's back to the line of scrimmage. But if my signals are right, correct me if I'm wrong, was that illegal touching?
No, it was no yards, and it was too many men.
Okay,
so too many men on the field is going to be a 10-yard penalty. The no yards in this case, because it was caught in the air, is a 15-yard type. So they're going to go back to the original line of scrimmage, walk off the difference of the kick, which in this case hurts the Grizzlies by 5 yards, and they're going to replay the down.
So this is going to move them back even more so for the punt. So they're going to have to take the snap from about the 51 as they continue to try and get players back onto the field, it looks like, as they bring Michael Holzbosch in amongst the special teams unit. Once again, Lewis and McCraney set up for the return. Punted from about the 40. Higher punt this time. Bounces at the 33. Lewis, hard shot. Flags popping out. Play is still returned by McCraney. Across center field, knocked it out of bounds at about the 51.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a UR. I think this has to be an unnecessary roughness to a defensive player, which means the play is going to stand, and we're going to move this up 15 yards from the end of the run. You'll see here on the replay, it was a high punt. It did not get the benefit of the wind, and it was just bouncing around, and as the return man is waiting there to field the play, you get that pop. It was just off our screen. But alertly, you get McCraney, who picks up the ball and says, look, it's still live. I'm going to go get as many yards as I can.
And they're still trying to converse over the official ruling. Here's the call.
Unnecessary roughness on the kicking team. Moving it up 15. First down.
That is indeed the case. It's 15 from the end of the run. So now you're going to get the Fratmen set up inside the 40-yard line, officially spotted at the 38. So what you just built on, you got the first downs, you got a couple of them, you got inside the Fratman end, you had a chance to punt and pin them deep, and after all things transpire, the Fratmen are set up at the 37-yard line, and my guess is take a shot over the top, but it looks like we have Mayu in that quarterback.
Yes, indeed. Daniel Mayu in for the first time this season, throws his way to the left side, picked up McCraney. Trying to get across the 15, brought down at the 13.
But another flag on the field here, so we're just wondering to see if it's an offsides again. It looks like it is.
Yeah, this is again at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, offside in the defense. That penalty's declined. First down.
All these pre-snap alignment things are concerning for GTA. Those are just look in, find the ball, make sure you're a yard. This isn't a grass field with unmarked lines, and you clearly see the hash marks and all the lines on it. Get yourself lined up, because if you actually turn the ball over and you have to give it back because you were misaligned, just ask the Kansas City Chiefs about that, how they cost them a play when Tom Brady was intercepted last year.
First and 10 at the 12 on that note, as Mayu, quick throw, McCraney moves to the left side, tries to juke, pushes forward to the end zone, touchdown, Fratmen.
Well, McCraney just ran that like he was maybe 265 pounds, and now we do get a flag late, so somebody might have chirped, somebody might have said something, not sure who, but that was just poor tackling at the end of that by the Grizzlies when you get the smallest guy on the field, McCraney. And here's the replay, just a little screen. like to see a little bit more sustained blocking, but here you go, McCraney going through people, running over bodies, and just his will took him into the end zone. And now my guess is somebody said something as Mr. Carter and Chris Patton are just going to discuss how or what was said and what the infraction officially is.
And we'll have to see again. That would count as the first passing TD of the season for Daniel Mayu. The hard-throwing
We had
QB.
2 objectionable conducts. AKO after the play was dead. Those penalties will be applied on the kickoff.
2 objectionable conducts, Justin. That means they're going to take the kick, which should have been at the 45-yard line, and move it back 20 yards, because both are going to be applied. In Canada, you get 2. They both apply. In the U.S., you have to decline one and then accept one. Not here. Both are going to move this back, and that's going to mean they're going to be kicking from the 25-yard line as they line up to go for a 2-point conversion here. They must just not be confident in their preparation of the extra points here.
This would also potentially put them up by 4 touchdowns in the early going. Mayu passing up the middle, off of Lewis's hand, incomplete. So it will stay 26-0 to start off the game, approaching midway through the second.
That was the exact same play. Exact same play. They got the 2-point last time, but they didn't execute it this time.
Hockey fans, flex ticket packages are now on sale for the 2019-20 Windsor Spitfire season. You can reserve not just your favorite seats, but save money off individual games. Packs for 6, 10, 15, and 22 games are available for the season. Go to windsorspitfires.com for more information. With that 9 minutes to go in the first half, Fratmen up 26-0. And as mentioned, going to have to kick it off on the 25-yard line, but have been looking very strong to start the season.
At least the last 8 minutes.
Yes.
The first almost 10 minutes was not all that sharp. But their offense has started to click a little bit. We expect the defenses to always be a little bit ahead early in the season, because it's so hard to install everything you want offensively this early, as we take a look at the crowd enjoying the sun.
And this is going to be returned either way from the 33-yard line. Fans will watch as that darts its way to the 53, that time returned by Clarkin. So good field position for the Grizzlies, but they have yet to get a big play on offense or any points on the board.
Now, hopefully, if you're GTA, you'll see here on the replay that it was a short kick, obviously, because they had to kick from their own 25-yard line. So easily getting it to the midfield here, but good protection of the ball, and approaching midfield gives them a great opportunity to get back in this game. GTA had so many opportunities early, being 6-0 for the whole quarter, and early on, just not capitalizing off anything, making very fundamental mistakes that are unacceptable. I don't care if it's the first game of the alignment and offside issues are not acceptable at this level. Maybe if they can clean it up here and they can get some sort of semblance of a score, even a field goal, it's a positive.
1st and 10, 53-yard line, quick throw, caught by Clarkin. Tackled at about the 50-yard line, maybe make it the 51. So 2nd and medium for GTA.
And that was a quick decision by Malachi to get that rid of it in real on time and on target. A lot of teams don't necessarily utilize that play early in the games. You split the difference on a defender and you just run a simple little hook. Stop. Next thing you know, you pick up 6-7 yards, and you don't have to really read too many of the defenses. You don't have to worry too much about linebackers getting out there that quickly, as long as everything's thrown on time. So that's a nice, simple play. Maybe the coaches talked to him and said, look, we just want to keep things as simple as possible, and he got it out quickly.
2nd and 4, 51-yard line with 7:40 to go in the first half. Blocker switches to the right side of the field. 3 receivers in the motion. Morrison throwing to the right side of the field, overthrown and incomplete. They'll make it 3rd and 4 once again.
Big time miscommunication, as the intended receiver looked like he was going to be working to the slant. Did not necessarily get the go out of it, because the quarterback threw the slant and go, maybe trying to get that sluggo route going that John Gruden likes to say, but He did not get that. The slant, the receiver stayed on the slant, and the ball went on the go over the top of it, and now they have to punt once again.
So once again, GTA's punt returning unit gets ready to take the field once more. Turns will set up about the 10-yard line. Picked up by Baines. Punting towards the right side, through the wind. Picked up by McCraney at about the 10. Goes across the 20. Across the 30. Brought down at the 34. For a decent return for the Fratmen and decent field position for this drive.
So the one time they get an actually pretty good kick out of it, the coverage isn't there with it. It's hard to really cover when that ball's kicked all the way across the boundary, right to the sideline just like that. And McCraney does the most important thing you can do on any punt return, that's catch the ball in the air. He caught it in the air, and that gave him a lot of time to evaluate where he wants to run while he's running. And the Fratmen are now set up with real good field position.
And you just seen how strong the wind is still. That helped blow that towards the coffin corner. But first and 10, 35-yard line as Mayo sets up her second drive of the season. Three receivers in the motion, looking up the middle. Pressure from the right side. Brought down for the first sack of the season. That time it was Hosbosh on the rush. They'll make it second and long.
And that was just a speed rush. A young man come off the edge right in the face of the quarterback. You would have liked to seen possibly maybe get rid of the ball just a little quicker, but I'm not going to blame that on the quarterback. The quarterback didn't have a ton of time there, but him seeing it, he might have been able to get rid of the ball. That being said, the safe thing is to take the sack and not turn the ball over. So I'm going to give Mayu just the benefit of the doubt on that one. Eat the ball and don't make a huge mistake.
Second and 15 now on the play. Mayu looking to scramble right. Trying to find space. Throwing on the motion. Incomplete. That time intended again for Hayes Williams. And that'll bring back the special teams unit.
All right, I like the little poise in the pocket. He stayed in the pocket. It collapsed around him. He stepped up, worked to his right, eyes down the field. In essence, a safe throw, because if that ball was missed, like it was sailing out of bounds, so only his guy was going to get it, or it was going to be an incomplete pass. So you don't mind that kind of effort. If anything now, you just say, I like the pocket presence. I like the ability to step up. Even though he was just sacked, he stayed in the pocket, stepped forward, then slid. So not the ideal situation with that much pressure, but good poise from the quarterback to at least not turn the ball over or take another sack.
Again, that's going to bring Albondi to punt again. Looking to punt away just around the 20. Goes straight out of bounds at about the 53 to bring back out GTA's offense. 5:33 to go on the clock. But once again, today's game is presented by Nodis Athletic Incorporated. Since 1946, Nodis has been Windsor's sports equipment specialist. Their knowledgeable and experienced football experts will fit you with the gear you need. Visit them at their showroom today at 2020 Tecumseh Road West or call at 519-252-5705 to find the perfect equipment for you and your sports. Clock now rolls with just about 5 minutes to go in the first half. The Grizzlies looking to get on the scoreboard here.
And let's see if they can capitalize off good field position. So we're lined up right at the midfield stripe.
One of the best starting field positions again of this game so far. As Morrison sets up a QB, looks to throw, quick play. Caught this time again by Clarkin. Brought down about the 49. That's an error, quick gain of 5 for second and mid.
Okay, back to the same first down play the last series. So they do pick up almost 6 yards here. Now let's see if they can convert it. They haven't had a stretch of 3 or 4, and you'll see here on the replay, just a nice catch, quick turn, maybe extends the ball out for an extra yard, so that's good effort from the receiver. But you have to be able to put 2 or 3 together, and they haven't shown that yet, so their offense is clearly out of rhythm, but maybe they can find something on this potentially last drive of the opening quarter, or the opening half.
We'll see how they do here on 2nd and 4. Throwing deep out of the pressure. Nearly intercepted again, right out of the hands of Lynch. And that will make it 3rd and 4.
Yeah, the young man just does not have that kind of arm strength. He's on the right hash. He's throwing it all the way across the field. And it's not going to work. The ball hangs up. The corner is just sitting there watching the ball. That should have been intercepted. That was Dalmas once again, who just lost focus. He saw the ball the entire way you saw him slap, and he's probably going to go to the sideline and do push-ups, because anytime you drop the ball, all these players want to do push-ups. But that should have been a turnover. Fortunately for the Grizzlies, they still have an opportunity to pin the Fratmen deep, as opposed to turning the ball over again.
And once again, the punt unit comes out for the GTA Grizzlies. This time sky high, and maybe out of bounds at the 40 of the Fratmen. That would be a punt of maybe 15, 20 yards.
It didn't even go that far, Justin. That ball is going to be going all the way pretty much to where the line of scrimmage was. Like, they're literally going to just turn the sticks around. That was a net punt of 0.
Wow. So they're going to set up at the Fratmen 50 after a punt that in total distance in the air went 10 yards for 1st and 10 with 3:55 to go in the first half.
And I watched the punter. He struggled early in the warm-ups. I don't know if he's trying to angle it, but he's trying too much, because the ball just shanked right off the right side of his foot.
Mayo either way will set up for 1st and 10 as they're going to blow the play dead as a timeout is called by the Fratmen. That's their last of the half.
Yeah, that's because they didn't have a running back on the field. You got Mayu looking around, and he's just checking, and he looks beside him. Okay. Now, if it's a run play, it's a big problem because you can't hand it off. But if you're the quarterback and it's a pass play and your running back is a part of the protection, you don't want to get killed. So anyway, you add it together. Dan Mayu had to take that timeout to negate the penalty.
Good to stay on the same page. But St. Clair College sports action is right around the corner. Digital Productions will have your coverage of Saints basketball and volleyball starting on October the 18th. Be sure to tune in on your exclusive home to watch the OCAA Women's Basketball Championships. Sports continuing on here on Digital Productions today with the Fratmen up 26-0. And lots of smiles on the sideline here so far at Alumni Field as they set up for 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line. This time the running back of Prier is ready to go. And sets up behind Mayu for his 3rd drive of the day. Prier and Lewis moving around, 4 on the right side. Bubble play, thrown quickly Holmes. Holmes across center field, knocked out at about the 51. So just close to the sticks, maybe 2nd and 1 if not inches.
Yeah, from the referee on the far sideline, it's going to be about a full 2 yards, Justin. Mm-hmm. But you see here on the replay that they just get the quick hitch outside and they're going to let their athletes make the play. Fortunately, there was not a push from the rear there because it looked like Omar Hayes-Williams almost got a block in the back there. But it's going to bring up a 2nd down and short for Mayu and his crew.
They marked it down. You see at the last second there going out with 2nd and 3 at the 53-yard line. That's where they mark it as Holmes moves to the left side. Mayu looking left. Caught by Lewis, but hit immediately in the backfield. That was Randhana making the tackle, and that'll make it 3rd down once again.
Yeah, and I have a sort of striking suspicion that Brandon McCraney missed his assigned block there. Whenever you get an opportunity to run a slip screen, yeah, and it was McCraney who just saw the DB just run past him there. You have to get hat on hat and defend your receivers on those little slip screens, and unfortunately did not get the hat on. It's resulting in a punting situation for the Fratmen.
And that's just inside now the 3-minute warning, under 3 minutes on the clock as play is whistled back in. Again, that's going to bring Bondi out as the special teams unit punter. 2 returners set up deep for the Grizzlies once more. Taking a bit of a running start this time. Bit of a boom down the right field line. Trying to go in the motion, Clarkin, but brought down quickly at the 20.
Yeah, a little rugby style kick. There was not a lot of pressure, and I don't think the Grizzlies have really practiced any kind of punt block scenarios yet this year because they're not even doing any kind of set plays. So a little rugby style punt set the Grizzlies up deep in their own end.
As we head towards halftime here, the Fratmen lead 26-0 in this matchup. Their next home game is coming up on August the 31st, where they take on the Niagara Raiders. You can see that live on We Digital Production starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time from the Rose City here in Windsor, Ontario, your exclusive home for Windsor Fratmen action. 2:37 to go as the Grizzlies once again set up on offense. Ball is marked at the 22-yard line to start off this drive as they look to try and get something going, a positive to add into the locker room. Running back for this possession, Adarkwa. Morrison sets up. 3 receivers move. Morrison, short play, over top the head of Small, incomplete. That'll make it quickly second in 10 at the 22.
Yeah, Malachi missed his target, clearly overshot him by, 4 feet as it sailed over his head. But even if that was on target, I don't know if there was much going. It was only a 2-yard route, and he looked like Elijah Blythe was right on top of that initially. So to no avail, they have to get out of this funk of just no rhythm. They don't seem to be in getting to the line of scrimmage in any kind of passion or knowing what they're doing. They seem a little confused.
Second down now. Fake handoff, quick throw, incomplete, but a flag after the play.
Yeah, and it could be roughing the passer here. We're going to get the call from Mr. Carter.
Unnecessary roughness. Late hit on the quarterback. On the defense, up 15, first down. 54, he was way late.
And you started it right there. That was, again, Blake Olette. They're saying he was late.
Yeah, it's such a protected
54.
position nowadays.
Quiet, Mike, that's enough.
Everyone says you get one step, It's not, you don't get a step. You can't hit them unnecessarily anymore. It's a flat out, that's the way it is. So at the end of the day, if you're even in a breath space of it, if the ball is out of his hands, you gotta let go of it.
Absolutely. Especially with the safety part of it as well. With 2:29 to go in the half, 1st and 10 is now moved to the 37. Morrison.
Yeah,
Quick throw.
It's
Play
a false
dead.
start. Yeah, the left guard. Or sorry, the left
2 steps
tackle.
and got him, okay? Yes. No, okay.
Yeah, this is neat. We're actually getting in-game commentary right now because Mr. Carter doesn't realize his mic is on still.
I think that was Olette checking about the roughing the passer part.
Backing it up 5. First down, repeat it.
And now it's off. But yeah, the left tackle did move early there. So another pre-snap penalty. That's got to be at least 5 or 6 now for the visitors, which is going to set them back to 1st and 15. They already have enough offensive struggles. As we take a look at Coach Morency, because you heard Bruce Carter said that's enough, Mike. I'm assuming it was one of the mics, Mike Morency or Mike LaChance, who was debating the roughing the passer. But one of the mics were told to sort of back off just a little.
Especially since you're up 26. 1st and 15, quick play, makes it to a 2nd and about 10. Once again, caught by Clarkin.
Yeah, the offensive line is stuck in the mud right now. The Fratmen are not bringing their traditional 6, 7, 8-man blitz packages. That was just 4-man rush there. And the quarterback is under some immense heat. If the throw is held onto, if the ball is held onto just a shade longer, you're going to see a sack fumble real soon.
And now again, it's going to be a 2nd and long once more for the Grizzlies. Looking to try and move the sticks here. Again, running back Adarkwa on this possession. 3 receivers to the left side, 2 set up on the right. Morrison draws them forward. Throwing again. Thrown to the left side, nearly intercepted. Deflected away by Lynch. And it's 3rd and 11.
What an ill-advised throw. There was some pressure in his face. Malachi throws the ball off his back foot, and it just hung up. That could have just as easily went for an interception the other way. But again, what are you accomplishing on a 2nd down and 12 when the ball was only going to be caught at a 1-yard or maybe 2-yard gain? Eat the ball. Don't give them a pick six. The one thing you don't want to do is give a defense who's already having some success that bonus of scoring a touchdown.
It's just been, I don't even know what to say at this point. Start for the Grizzlies for 2019. 26-0 again. Special teams unit out. Baines, a booming punt this time. Picked up by McCraney at the 30. Cuts at the 40. Bounces off 2 players. Tries to run by 1. Brought down finally at the 47. But again, the player you seen him start to shut off was Chevron Malloy, the player he pushed across the end zone for that TD.
Yeah, and Brandon McCraney, they don't even have his height and weight listed here because they probably don't want to say he's 5'7", 180 pounds. But he's playing like he's Earl Campbell. He's just running through some bodies there. I love the effort. He's always been a physical runner for a person of his size. And I don't even consider the size a concern when it comes to him because he loves the contact of it. But this is going to give the Fratmen, again, he caught it in the air. He picked up almost 10 yards. Good field position for the Fratmen as it looks like Colton Allen's back in the game for this last drive.
And McCraney will set up on the right side of the field. You mentioned there someone I would also consider an impact player for the Fratmen. Lewis will join him on that side of the field. Allen throwing. Quick play. Caught this time by Holmes. Darts his way to about the 49. Quick gain for 2nd and long.
And sometimes you throw a play like that just because you hope your athlete can make a guy miss. Kudos to the defender who made the tackle because Holmes is very, very athletic. And in the open space like that, if he does make the first guy miss, he usually turns it into a big positive. In this case, it was a yard and a half at most.
Clock will rule once again. Under a minute 20 to go in the first half. Just one receiver up at the top. That is Hayes Williams on the right side. Prayer on the ground. Gets past the sticks. Brought down at the 48-yard line.
Major confusion on the defense as they shifted and went heavy to the field side here, which is the quarterback's left. They walked the linebacker all the way outside the box, and that left that right side of the offense pretty open for Nash, and it just simple run, turnout block from the offensive tackle. Guard pins his defensive tackle down, and Nash picks up, 12 yards on that carry, giving him a first down.
That mark down at the 48-yard line. Under a minute to go as Allen looking left. Quick throw out of the hands of Lewis and incomplete. And he had some decent space too.
He did. The throw was a little bit high and maybe a little behind him. I'm not sure if the route combination was at the proper depths. I know Coach LaShawn said he's going to try to do multiple drags across the field, but it did look like there were 2 receivers on top of each other, which may have confused Colton Allen a little bit. He was trying to hit the under, but the over showed behind him. And sometimes when you see 2 receivers on top of each other, your depth gets thrown off. I think the receivers had something to do with that errant throw.
And now because of that, it's 2nd and 10 with 50 seconds on the clock. Allen will throw again. Darting in the pocket. Throws on the move. Completed Lewis. Calling for blocks ahead. Across the 30. Brought down to the 25. But a flag is down. It is at about the 44-yard line.
Yeah, we're going to get a late hit again here. You'll see it.
We also have unnecessary roughness on the defense. Quarterback hit to the head. Up 15 more. First down.
Yeah, you see here on the replay that Dante Lewis just catches it on the drag. The bottom line is you can't hit the quarterbacks or any defenseless player in the head or neck area. And the call there was, it was a little late on top of the fact, but once you remotely come close to that head or neck, quarterback, automatic flag, and they will always err on the side of calling that, and that's going to give the Fratmen the full walk-off after the catch and run, which is going to set them up inside the 10-yard line.
Now give them 1st and goal in this one I believe this is actually just the first time we've actually said the words first and goal with the way the offense has been. Sets up with 39 seconds to go, just inside the 10-yard line here for Allen and his offense. Two receivers set up on the left side of the field this time, three on the right side. Holmes sets up in the middle of that group on the right side. Ethan Bayless moves to the right side as well. Prayer on the run. Gets a gain of 5 to set up second and goal. Make it a gain of 6.
Yeah, and again, same idea. Motion comes across, linebacker walks. There's a vacant path there. If the lineman would have just sustained their block just a little longer there, I think you might have been able to get just a little bit more of a sliver for Nash to get through there. But with 35 seconds left, there's plenty of time to get 2 more plays comfortably. I don't think they're going to be kicking a field goal here. They haven't tried an extra point since the first botched extra point. So they're going to get their 2 plays here to try to pound this into the end zone one last time before the half expires.
Clock rolls down. Allen calling the shots at the line. 15 seconds to go in the half. Throwing on second down. Up in the air. Intercepted by the Grizzlies. Grizzlies trying to return it out of the end zone. Able to get out of the space. Cut across the 20. Across the 30. Brought down to the 33 by McCraney. But the first interception by the Grizzlies on the day is made by Randhawa.
I would like to see that replay again. I don't know exactly what the checkoff is on that, but you clearly saw the corner play off coverage, and it was Omar Hayes-Williams who stopped at the goal line, and you had Colton Allen throw the ball deep, and in the off coverage, there's clearly miscommunication. The vision was not the same from the receiver and from the defensive back, from the quarterback, and the defensive back had a gift. That ball was thrown right to him, and he did a great job of bringing it out of the end zone. And now, not that they're going to do anything, it's the last play of the half, but in reality, it's 26 points. That's a big difference in the potential of 34, which they could have converted the 2 points. Like, it's a big deal.
A huge deal. Indeed. Expect to be the last play of the half. They're going to go on the ground. Abdullah cutting to the right. Shuts off a tackler. Flag thrown at the first down markers as Abdullah gets to the 45-yard line. But again, flag is down again.
Yeah, you're going to get Jalen Butcher with a horse collar here. He grabbed the back. He changed the direction of the ball carrier. So once they get, even if it's the tackle isn't completed, once you pull the back of the jersey and you see a change in direction, it's going to be called, which is going to extend the play. You're going to get this moved up on the major foul, and they're going to get the benefit of another play.
So they get another shot potentially to get on the scoreboard here. As the referee is currently discussing things once again, referee Bruce Carter. Here's the call.
Okay, you had a block below the waist on the offense. That penalty's declined. Halftime.
Maybe I did not see a block. I thought they were going to call a horse collar the way the flag came out. But if it is indeed the case, it doesn't matter. It's the plays on the offense. Give them the yards there. Don't give them another play. Decline the penalty, and now we're at half.
With that, we'll be back after a few moments. You're watching Weed Digital Productions. Fratmen lead 26-0 at halftime.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front the bird to drive the save. That's a nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and stops it behind the net. Marksman wipes it right in front. Talk and shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
Field, the site of OFC football here on We Digital Productions. Week number 1 of the OFC schedule. It has the AKO Fratmen hosting the GTA Grizzlies. First half is in the books, and the Fratmen take a 26-0 lead into the dressing room. Coach Mike Morency of the Fratmen joins us. Coach, quick assessment of that first half. I'm taking it that you and Coach will be pleased with it.
It's a typical opener, a lot of mistakes, and it's typical training camp just getting done, and a lot of kind of goofy penalties and offsides and procedures and stuff like that. But overall, we ran the ball a little bit better than we thought we were going to. Nash Pryor did a good job running the football, and we moved the ball around. That's a pretty grievous mistake at the end, though, with that much time we checked from a run to a pass on the 1-yard line. I don't know what we were really thinking about doing that, but overall, a nice performance for our kids. Thought the defense be pretty sharp. Scared to death of Minka Abdullah. We don't. If he's not back in the second half, hate to say you're happy, but he's a stud. He just worries the hell out of us. So great player, and we're going to try to keep working as hard as we can and iron out some of this stuff.
All right. There are some question marks with the team coming into week 1. The offensive line was one of them for sure. Maybe the little bit of the running game. The receiving core, what we thought was going to be deadly. And you getting some answers? Do you think you're getting some answers?
Receiving core is not our problem at all. It's running the ball. It's depth at running back, and the offensive line is really young and how they're going to come along. So anything we can get from the rushing game is a bit of a bonus right now. When we're able to get some protection, throw the ball, we're a pretty dangerous team. We got 5 real good perimeter kids, but we've got to get a little bit more out of our running game right now.
Obviously, you've kept them off the score sheet. You take care of the defensive side of the ball. Your thoughts there? Are you happy with what you saw there?
Not bad. We lost contain a couple times. Once with the quarterback, and then once with a toss. I mean, little things. Again, it's an opener, and you got to try to iron those things out as the season moves along, and not make those kind of fundamental mistakes. But overall, pretty good job. Sammy Morrow's playing at number 9, playing for us in the secondary. New kid doing a great job right now. And coming up, setting his feet, making some tackles and everything else. So far, so good, but it's early.
Yeah. Challenge your coach maybe, coming into the second half. You got a nice lead to work with, obviously, but keep this team sharp and hungry.
Well, that's the thing, and young guys, if they get a chance to play, they got to make the best of their opportunities. There's not opportunities all the time. If you get some today, you got to make the best of those opportunities. But you got to keep sharp, and it's a 60-minute deal, and you got to maintain that discipline for all 60 minutes. It's not a 45-minute game; it's a 60-minute game. And when you start playing 51 minutes, 52 minutes, crazy stuff happens.
All right, Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Associate Coach Mike Morency of the Fratmen. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll check in with the GTA Grizzlies. This is OFC Football on the We Digital Production Network.
Do your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour? Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglione Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
Welcome back to Alumni Field. Again, OFC football here on We Digital Production. Certainly glad to have the GTA Grizzlies joining us for the halftime break here. Mike Walsh, the defensive coordinator of the team, working hard with his club. And, Coach Walsh, I mean, you're down 26-0, but I think, Coach Morency, a lot of penalties, kind of what we expect in the first game, but there's some positives I'm sure you could draw from this.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing the product that we're putting on the field right now, and we're doing our best to evaluate to see where our strengths and weaknesses are. I think this is a good opportunity for us as a coaching staff and as a team to see what we're capable of so we can start to build.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, you look at your schedule and say, oh boy, it's the Fratmen. And Fratmen, let's face it, they're one of the perennial powerhouses every year. But you come into this game, you say, you know what, this is a game where we know the bar is set. Is that what you kind of take out of it here?
Yeah, it's a privilege to come down here and play a club like this because we know that they're going to have consistency at every position. So, you know, we just come over here and try to put our best up against their best to see what happens.
Obviously, they're loaded on the offensive side of the ball. Coach Massey talked about maybe the O-line just needing the most work, but their receiving core is really. How do you prepare for that? You're the defensive guy. You know that this team's going to throw the ball now.
Well, when you have depth like that at the receiver position, it makes it difficult. So we sat down and we're trying to scheme some stuff up, but we're going to make some adjustments at the halftime, try to take the ball out of the best player's hands and see what we can do with it.
Yeah. Talk to me about coming into this season. I've heard good things about the organization. I heard that they're getting over a hump, so to speak. Financially, they're getting some help now. The numbers look good. The players. I always said GTA has some great athletes, and you can see it's there again. Talk to me about the game this season for you and the rest of the coaching staff.
Yeah, so I think the adage is that the GTA Grizzlies have the best athletes and the worst football players. So as a coaching staff, we're trying to make a change of that, trying to actually develop some fundamentals and some skills, fill in the holes where they were once lacking. In terms of the team, we're very grateful to have a new sponsor in Alterna Savings. They've been a huge help to us. We got new jerseys this year, and we're trying to take that as the step to move forward to being one of those championship football organizations.
Of course, last year you make the playoffs. A huge stepping stone for this team. And it was great to see, and certainly something I think you and Coach Holder could take and build upon.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we're setting the standard right here. We want to get into the playoffs. We want to be a team that's going to peak in the later half so that we can come out here and kind of, like I say, peak at the right time.
Appreciate your time here, Coach. Congratulations on getting this thing going and going in a good direction, and good luck the rest of the way, okay?
Thanks, Tom.
All right, Mike Walsh doing a good job with this young GTA team. This is an exciting program. They're going to be okay, folks, and I'm glad to see that they're getting some support. All your programs need some support. We got to keep this going in a positive manner. We got to keep this going strong. We need to get these young kids playing this great sport of football. When we come, speaking of football, we're going to talk to our color commentator, Badia Quas. We're going to get a little bit of the game of football here in our Windsor, Essex County area. High school football just around the corner, getting ready to start. So Badia will be able to fill us in all about that. You're watching OFC Football on We Digital Productions.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berg, a drive, the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and stops it behind the net. Marks with White's right in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
Football here on We Digital Productions. The AKO Fratmen hosting the GTA Grizzlies. Halftime has arrived, and it's the Fratmen leading 26-0. Of course, our outstanding color commentator, Badia Quas, helping us out here with our halftime report. And I want to kind of change channels a little bit. Badia, also one of the hardworking conveners of our high school football scenario. And, you know, there's a lot of concern, not only here in Windsor and Essex County, but throughout the province about high school football, the future of it, the numbers, things like that. Badia, if you can give us a little insight where it's at, and you know, I'm hoping that we can get this thing going in a real positive and good direction. We need to keep kids active.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, there's two factors right now that are going to contribute to either the success or the demise of high school football, particularly. It's going to be the financial burden because it's getting harder and harder to raise that much money because the sport is an expensive sport, and of course the player safety concern. All coaches need to be certified, and you need outside coaches because you just don't have enough in-house to do that all. And where's the money going to come to get the safe contact, the concussion protocols, the first aid, the CPR, all the stuff that's going to be needed? Plus you need your levels of certification from Football Canada to be a level 1, 2, 3 trained coach. So between all the safety concerns and the financial burdens and the issues that are sort of outside the scope of we just want to be on the field and coach, it's going to be a challenge across the entire province and, quite frankly, in the country for high school football.
Can you let us know, Biddy, our viewers or people that are fan of this great game, could you let us know if there is some dialogue going on to try to resolve some of the issues that you've just talked about? And is there dialogue throughout the province? Like, are all the football coaches talking to each other and saying, this is where we can go, how we can improve these?
Well, I think all the football coaches are all on the same page in the sense that they don't want to see the sport go away. But the powers that be, when it's a high school sport and we are by the powers above us, sometimes it's really outside of our hands. Yes, we would like to try to do some things like put on clinics and bring in guest speakers and bring in people to give us concussion awareness and try to get as much of it subsidized as possible from other resources other than school board money. But at the end of the day, we just don't know how it's going out because there's so much turnover from year to year. High school sports is on a voluntary basis. And when you ask outside coaches who, well, guess what? They're young former players. Job, they're in school. The new guy who comes in, we have to get them recertified. So it's such a folded, layered problem that I don't know if all of us collectively can come up with an answer, but we're going to try our best.
We're lucky to have you working on it, that's for sure, buddy. Appreciate the time. I'll let you get back upstairs with Justin. As always, you're doing a great job up there. Love listening to you. Of course, again, if you want to really help out, throw some ideas, get involved. We got to keep sports going forward, folks. And it's not just football. There's other sports that are really concerned right now. So we need to really have some discussions and keep this thing going forward. After this break, we're going to come back, the kickoff for the second half, OFC football here on We Digital Productions.
Do your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour? Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglione Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Windsor goes down. Look front to Bergman, drive the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and stops it behind the net. Marksman White's right in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save!
You're watching We Digital.
Welcome back, everyone, to beautiful Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of OFC football. We're about to start up the second half as the Fratmen lead 26-0 on their home turf. Justin Prince on one side, but Equaz here at We Digital Productions. A strong second half quarter, at least, for the Fratmen as we get ready for the second half. Going back to return, Cody Holmes. Picked up out of his own end zone. Return across the 5. Has blockers across the 10. Trying to round the corner, but brought down at the 14-yard line.
Good kick, good coverage overall. That's a lot of running for Cody to only pick up 14 yards because he ended up maybe a yard deep in the end zone. Bad things happen when the ball bounces around, and that's exactly what happened here. It bounced, and next thing you know, he's 3-4 yards deep into the end zone. And as he peels out, he's trying to go all the way across, so he's got to run 40 yards wide just to try to pick up a few extra yards. But that's just good coverage down the field and good tackle keeping him inside the 15-yard line.
And you can see on top of that the communication from Lenko to say the opening's here, the space is here to try and gain as many yards as possible. Daniel Mayu will try and gain yards on offense. He'll start a quarterback to begin the third quarter. Going to run this time to start on 1st and 10. A gain of a few yards. That is David Riem making the play.
Yeah, change of pace now from Nash Prier to David. You pick up a good solid 4.5, 5 yards, making second down and more manageable. That's what you want to see on a first down. Good positive play. When you're back inside your own 20, in a perfect world, you can run the ball 3 times, get a first down, run the ball 3 more times, get a first down, and hopefully you're now in a position to strike.
They're going to bring Prier back in for 2nd and 6. Ball placed at the 18-yard line, a minute into the third quarter. Mayu, botch snap, still throws up the middle to Lewis, cut across the 40-yard line, brought down at the 42.
Okay, now he did drop it, as you said, but good poise to pick it up. Good job by the offensive line to give him some protection, because you'll see here on the replay he had a clean pocket to throw into, and good job by Lewis to continue on his route over the middle and high point the ball. He went up and snagged it at its highest point. It eliminates any opportunity for an interception or an undercut of the ball. Good job by the receiver. Good poise by the quarterback after the botch snap. Now you're first down and 10 from your 42-yard line. It's ready to roll.
That moves it now in decent field position. 3 receivers on the right side of the field. 2 on the left side for Mayu. Hands it off to Prier. Runs up the middle. Brought down at about the 49-yard line, a gain of a few.
Yeah, it's such a soft box. They should be getting more yards out of that. That's a linebacker, number 44, who made the tackle, and that is Mark Straw. I just think if you see here on the replay, the offensive line needs to combo that and get up that a little sooner. It looked like it was number 63, Jackson Clausen, who might have been a little late scraping to the top. It's still a good gain. 7.5 yards is a good run, but I still think if they can get the hat on Straw, the middle of the field is wide open for that inside run.
6 players towards the box. Slowly creeping is a 7th for 2nd and 3. Hand it off to Prier. Prier again, left side, and up for a first down just past center field.
So this time they change the mindset a little bit in that they bring in David Riem to line up as the fullback and give Nash Prier a lead block. In that case scenario, it tries to get an extra hat on first spot linebacker or second spot, depending on where they're counting from the linebacker position in that ISO play, and they easily converted that first down.
Ball is marked down to the 54-yard line on the strong run. Approaching 5 minutes into the third quarter. Again, 3 on the right side of the field. Hayes Williams up at the top on that side of the screen. Mayu looking to pass this time. Throws quickly. Holmes making the play around the 50-yard line. Only a gain of a couple. They'll spot it at the 51, maybe the 52.
Holmes thought he could keep his balance there. He did a quick speed turn, and had he kept his balance, he might have been able to get up that right sideline. Here's the replay. A little late on the throw. He's got to get it out a little quicker, and then that speed turn was unable to allow him to free up and get on the outside. It looked like it was Hayes Williams who did not sustain that block, cracking back on the halfback.
Indeed, they're going to mark it down as the 51. A gain of 3 on that play. Also a substitution on the defensive line for this snap. It looks like bringing in Omar Mahmoud amongst the rush. Flag drawn, though, on the play. We'll have to see if it's going to be on the offense or defense as players collided.
Yeah, well, if you have to say an offensive lineman number, it looked like big number 63. It looked like it was Clausen again who moved a little early. But we'll see if he was drawn offside. Here's the call.
We have procedure on the offense, backing it up 5. Second down, repeat it.
Once again, Bruce Carter, the referee, as that's going to move him back a few yards.
And this is a position the Fratmen have not been in a lot of at second down and 12. So they haven't really had to do any kind of razzle-dazzle or trickery type plays. But again, they haven't had to. I think if they go up the seam again, they can catch somebody flat-footed and just get vertical.
That penalty makes it 2nd and 12. Mayu looking to throw up the middle. Omar Hayes Williams trying to dart out of traffic. Pushes forward. Brought down short of the sticks, though, at the 48.
Something was off again because it looked like Dante Lewis and Hayes Williams were on top of each other. And I'm not sure. It's surprisingly they caught the ball and got something out of it.
That'll make it 3rd and 4. Today's game is presented by Harold Remark and Royal Page Binder Real Estate. With more than 20 years of experience, Harold can help you find your perfect home or next property. Contact Harold today by phone at 519-733-1028 or view his current listings at royalpagebinder.com. 3rd and 4. Fratmen going for it. Mayu up the middle, incomplete. That will give the ball to the Grizzlies with 9:30 to go in the third quarter.
And that was a good job by the middle linebacker, Mark Straw, number 44, who forced the high throw. They tried to do that little bit of a drag over the middle of the field, but Straw had nothing to do with, like he wanted nothing to do with that route. He kept driving it a little deeper, and it forced a high throw from Mayu and a turnover on downs. Maybe the break the Grizzlies need. If they can somehow get back into this game in this quarter, make the fourth quarter a little bit more interesting and see if the Fratmen flinch and make another critical mistake.
The Toronto Argonauts feeder team will set up on offense at the 48-yard line. Setting up once again at quarterback Malachi Morrison, intercepted 2 times in the first half. We'll have the big running back in the backdrop this time. Fake handoff thrown quickly on the play and marked down at about the 48-yard line. And we've seen that play a couple times, although flipped in the first half from Morrison and his offense.
Yeah, but they don't seem to build off of it. That is a good first down play. You almost got half the yardage gained. If you even get 3 or possibly 4 here, you're more inclined to go for it. But it seems like every time they've been in a second and manageable, they've either went off sides, backed themselves up, or gotten sacked, and it just hurt them. Let's see if they can actually capitalize on a half-decent first down play.
Believe that was Small on the catch on first down. Flag thrown on 2nd and 6. And And we've seen a few different infractions such as this from the offense in the first half.
Yeah, that must be on the coach.
Okay, we have procedure. The offense, backing it up 5, second down, repeat it.
Oh, obviously one of the linemen or one of the receivers must have moved on the far side because I didn't see anybody move because everyone was making calls. I thought it was the coach saying something because when the flag comes from that side judge and there was really it was all pre-snap and there was not even the inclination of a snap, I thought it might have been on the bench, but it was a procedural call, another one.
That'll make it now 2nd and 11. 3 receivers in the motion. This time throwing. Lots of pressure brought down for the sack. That time goes all the way past the 40. It's Anthony Garib amongst the passer rush for the sack.
And let's give Lawaya Lacko a little bit of credit. He was the first person to get there in that initial rush. It forced the Malachi to sort of duck under, and then it allowed Anthony to clean up the mess. But you go from second down and about 5.5, to a penalty that pushes you to 2nd and 10.5, 11, to now that sack, and you're punting from your own end again. Yet have they been able to build off of a half-decent first down play, and that's something that it would, as a coach, you have to address and focus on moving forward.
Punting away the Grizzlies again, Baines. See a return by McCraney at about the 20-yard line, brought across the 25. Again, cutting to the left. Few blocks in the back. Either way, brought down at about the 33, maybe the 34-yard line for decent position for the Fratmen once more. 7:27 to go in the third quarter, and still up in full control. Today's game is presented by Nodis Athletic Incorporated. Since 1946, Nodis have been Windsor sporting equipment specialists. Their knowledgeable and experienced football experts will fit you with the gear you need. Visit them at their showroom at 2020 Tecumseh Road West or call 519-252-5705 to find your perfect equipment for you and your sports. Mayu will stay in the game at the midway point of this third quarter and try and add a few extra more points to the Fratmen offense. Remember, in each of the games they met the Grizzlies in 2018, 30-plus points scored. Mayu forced out of the pocket. Throws on the motion down the right side. Nearly complete, but dropped. Holmes, the intended receiver. It's now 2nd and 10.
Yeah, you said the right word, dropped, because I don't think that was an errant throw. I think you see Cody Holmes just try to run, try to turn it up real quick, stop, catch the ball. You already got a big gain as it is, and if you can keep your momentum going, you possibly could have turned that in. But he dropped it. It is a warm day. He has been utilized a lot. You don't want to make excuses. I'm sure he's going to be critical of himself as he's coming off the sideline. But he just dropped it. You said the right word. That was a good job by Mayu in the face of pressure. He was able to scramble out to his right, eyes down, downfield that is, making sure that he was able to see all his receivers. And he threw a ball in what I consider an absolutely perfect spot for a completion.
With that, again, that will bring Holmes for a chance to rest and get some hydration for 2nd and 10. Mayu, this time drops the snap, picks it up again. This time the sack comes. Loss of about 5 or 6 in the play will make it 3rd and long.
See, I've seen this happen a couple times now. We do have a flag, so we'll see if the Grizzlies were offsides because it looked like they jumped again. But if that's the case, we'll get the call here and it'll negate the sack.
Offside on the defense. Moving it up 5. Second down, repeat it.
Big mistake. You see, you sack them, you would have put them in a punting situation, and instead you're giving them an easy half-yard down. Like, first down, 5 yards, they're going to run the ball twice here in a row, likely get the first down if they want to keep it that simple. But I've noticed when Dan Mayu, stay on the ball. Stay on the ball. He's actually drifting before the snap gets there, and he's trying to reach and palm it with one hand. He dropped that one. I don't think it was a terrible snap. Stay on the ball.
We'll see if he stays on the ball. A 2nd down. Has to pick it up on the right side. Hands it off with the left hand to Prayer. Tries to rush out to the sideline, enough for a first down. They'll mark him at the 48. And that time, he used the one hand, but shifted to the other to help the space for Prayer.
Yeah, I did a little bit of a wrap draw. They do a little sprint out to the right. And he's going to hand it all off. But the offensive line, like, I was almost blown up in the backfield by a defensive tackle when Nash should have had a ton more room there. But you had an offensive lineman facing the running back. No, collapse everything to the inside. We do have an injury on the field. And this is, I believe, Mark Straw, 44, their linebacker. And he's the one who's been all over the place. But Nash did break the tackle, and he did pick up the first down.
Of course, right around the corner is St. Clair College Sports. For the 2019-20 season, We Digital Productions will have your coverage of Saints basketball and volleyball starting on October the 20th from the St. Clair College Sportsplex. Be sure to tune in on your exclusive home to watch the OCAA Women's Basketball Championships. 6:05 to go in the third quarter here at Alumni Field. Fratmen still on the field after a good first down rush. And as you see, Straw being taken to the sideline now by the training staff for the Grizzlies. And you mentioned he's been very active on the ball today.
He just looks winded. He's been running all over the place, so that's just might be a product of exhaustion. It's a warm day out there.
Yeah, it's looking to get hotter and hotter. And a lot of players have been staying near the hydration pods on the sidelines. First down, Prayer. Lots of space up the seam. Brought down at about the 38.
In the immediate absence of Straw, they run right up the gut. And all game long, Straw's been able to negate that big long run. He goes out for one play, and you see on the replay here, the linebacker gets sealed off this time. Straw was faster, sniffed it out all day long and negated it. Maybe still gave up 7 or 8 yards, but not the big run. That turns out to be a 25-yard run in the absence of their middle linebacker. So you can see how important he is to the scheme of, because they're very light in that box, and without their horse in the middle, this could be just a lot of plowing right through the middle.
They placed it down to the 37 after the long run for 1st and 10. Mayu throws quickly to McCraney. Trying to get past the line of scrimmage. Still trying to get moving, but brought down for maybe a loss of 1. Yes, indeed, with forward progress. That'll bring to second and about 11.
Yeah, and this one here is, I guess, to his detriment. McCraney tried to break too many tackles. I'm not going to negate the fact that he's trying his best. He is absolutely. He caught the ball at the line of scrimmage. He had hands on him right away. He's trying to make a bunch of plays as we see 2 injured players on the field right now. And one looks like it's a cramp because he's stretching out like it's a cramp. That's number 5 for the visitors. And Davion Braithwaite looks like he's cramping, and you can just tell by he's walking, he's trying to stretch that out. And maybe they're both cramps, because I know what that walk looks like, where that straight leg good. And I mean, it's 90 degrees or 30 degrees, whatever you want to say it is, whether you're Fahrenheit or Celsius person. But it feels like it's 10 degrees hotter, regardless, 5 to 10 degrees hotter with the humidity down here in Windsor.
Absolutely. The next game, though, in Windsor is coming up in about a couple weeks or so on August the 31st. Remember, that's the second regular season home game of 2019. Should note, third total against the Niagara Raiders. You can see that on your exclusive home, We Digital Productions, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time from Alumni Field. 2nd and 11 is the play now, with 4:38 to go in the third quarter. Just one receiver on the left side of the field. This time it's Dylan Samuels on that side. Mayu looking to pass. Bunched up on the right. Hayes Williams tries to catch it off his glove and maybe at the top of his head. Either way, 3rd and 11 now the play.
Looks like a lot of contact, but maybe contact both ways. We'll see here on the replay. Mayu steps into it, and he has a clean pocket. And you see both receivers sort of pulling with their arms down. I'm okay with that as a no call. I think both guys were jostling and hand fighting. I don't think one dominated the contact more than the other. So I'm okay with that. And now with 3rd down, and I got word from Coach LaChance that they're long snapper and their backup long snapper are both out, which might be one of the reasons why they're going for it and why they're not trying extra points, because they don't longer have a snapper.
I was about to actually bring that up. In fact, it was mentioned to me just at about that same time, I think, as you up here in the press box. And so, 3rd and 11, Mayu going for it. Steps up in the pocket, brought down to the backfield for a loss of 1 and a sack. So
collectively, Justin, that's real good coverage by the back end, and that's very disciplined pass rush by the defensive force unit. The offensive line did not do a great job of securing a clean pocket for Mayu to step up into, but I think the one thing that Mayu did not do was he did not come off his primary receiver properly. His eyes went to the number 1, then he immediately went to the run. You got to get through your read progressions. If your 1 is taken care of, go to your 2. He immediately brought it down. He was in no position to throw, resulting in the sack and subsequent turnover on downs.
And you can see a little bit of the style differences between the two quarterbacks. We've seen it in last season when they were in the first year with the Fratmen. Of course, Mayo known for the longer arm. Allen described as more of the leadership role back in that campaign. As now the Grizzlies try and set up. There is a timeout, it looks like now, called on the field, though, as some of the staff members coming onto said field with 3:31 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I didn't notice if there was an actual timeout called by anybody, but you do have water being allowed to be brought out to the field, which quite frankly is something that I'm shocked they fully haven't adopted, where they can allow for water timeout or hydration timeouts. I know soccer has been really, really big on that at almost every level, even the professional level, where they allow for hydration timeouts on a hot day like today. I'm pretty sure there's nothing in the rule book under Football Canada that offers a hydration timeout. On a hot day like today, I would be more than comfortable if both teams were allowed to have a hydration timeout.
And with this hydration timeout, let's take a moment to look at the schedule. Meanwhile, once again, we talked about this earlier, back and forth up the highway. Next game is against the Ottawa Sooners on the road August the 24th before the Fratmen come back home to take on Niagara. As that's going on, play is in motion for 1st and 10. Quickly to 2nd and 10 on the deflection by Leko. And that was another near interception, potentially.
That was an outstanding athletic play by Lawaya. He comes off his defensive end into coverage on, it looked like it was the running back who leaked out and, almost intercepted it. Excellent job, a good athletic play. It would have been absolutely green grass in front of him, and he has some speed to back up that size. So I would have guessed that if he did corral that, he might have taken it to the house.
And he is someone, again, with OUA experience, did play for the Lancers for a few seasons, was also a former member of the Essex Ravens, now a part of the Fratmen, the 22-year-old. As players dance at the line of scrimmage, multiple flags thrown.
Yeah, I saw at least number 50, Kyle Bruner, on our near side. He was rolling backwards. So I would suspect that this is a illegal procedure. And it will back it up 5 unless they think 1 on each side.
The thing is, though, with that, there was at least 4 different players that looked like that ended up dancing back.
Procedure on the offense, backing it up 5. 2nd down, repeat it.
And correction, number 50 is for the visitors, which is Michael Husselbach, which is likely the one I saw moving. But either way, it was another pre-snap foul against the visitors. My count is at least 7 right now. Big problems, big concerns, because those are unacceptable. I don't care if it's worth first game.
2:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. Grizzlies still looking to get on the board. 2nd and 15, quick throw. Trying to dance around in the backfield, small. Able to get maybe a couple, if not losing a couple. Either way, 3rd and long with another short play.
Yeah, and the design of the play is still a little off to me. They're only going to get 4 or 5, maybe 6, but they don't have anyone streaking on that play. If you're going to set and throw that slip screen, that little wide receiver hitch routinely, for a second down and long, that's when you want to have that little slip behind it where maybe one of the receivers pretends to block and gets vertical, and you get the corner looking into the backfield a little bit on the pump fake. There was no indication that there was anything like that going on. To me, it's a wasted down.
And now after that, it's going to bring up the punt unit for third down. Once again, Bain sends it off. Bounces at the 41, picked up with a running start, McCraney. Joking his way across the 40, across the 45, gets blockers at the 50. Brought down, though, at center field, and that's going to make it mark it around the 54-yard line for more good field position, another strong return, McCraney.
And the good news for the visitors, the Grizzlies number 44, Mark Straw was the one who made the tackle. So you have the kick. It takes a favorable bounce because it was almost like it was caught in the air. One easy hop to McCraney, and McCraney's able to make a few guys miss in close, confined spaces, and then he's able to work up this left sideline here and pick up a good 15, 17 yards. And like we said, 44 Straw was able to make that tackle as he assumes his middle linebacker position.
1st and 10. Allen now into the game. Quickly thrown to Holmes. Holmes crossed the chains, knocked out of bounds at about the 43. So a gain of 12 to start Allen's first drive of the half.
And I have to give credit to their Cody Holmes did nothing special there. I'm going to give credit to his blockers, because you have Hayes Williams who's making a block, and you have David Riem who's out in front making a block, and that secures. And there's the two blocks, 28 and 15, both engaged, making the blocks, allowing Cody Holmes to pick up the yards needed to move the sticks.
They mark it down to the 42-yard line after the catch and run. And with under 2 minutes to go in the quarter, Allen in decent field position for 1st and 10. Communicating with both sides of the field, looking to make adjustments at the line. 3 receivers in the motion. Hands it off. Running back falls in the backfield for a loss of a couple.
Yeah, and it looked like Riem saw a little bit too much of a blue jersey or a blue wall, and he tried to make a speed cut, and he just lost his footing, and it looks like it's a loss of 1. Wasn't the best block situation there. However, he did try to make that speed cut, and he lost his right foot.
Well, this is turf, of course, here at Alumni Field, too, that at times might factor in potentially with those pellets.
Quite possibly. Sometimes your body's moving so fast that, you just lose it. And he just lost it, it seemed like.
They mark it as just a loss of 1 that time for Riem. For 2nd and 11, ball back to the 43. Allen, lots of pressure, sheds off a sack, throws out a pressure, incomplete. Intended target looked to be Hayes Williams. It'll be 3rd and long.
And we have a flag here, and it looks like, according to Colton Allen, it's indication that it was either a head contact or a late hit, which is going to give them a 1st down. But good job avoiding the initial contact.
And that unnecessary roughness on the defense. Quarterback to the head. 15 yards, 1st down.
And you caught it right there. It looked like it might have been on that last tackle again, right after he got the throw off.
Yeah, and the focus of every level of football is going to be no head contact whatsoever. So you'll see Colton get rid of the ball, and you see that right hand come square tomahawk chop style right on the head of the quarterback. And even if it's inadvertent, you're trying to bat the ball down. Protected player can't hit the quarterback.
And now that's going to keep the drive alive too, Badi. To the 28-yard line, under 30 minutes to go in the quarter. Allen down the sideline. Incomplete off the hands of Hayes Williams. And they'll make it 2nd and 10. No flags on the play, it appears.
Yeah, just a straight vertical right along the sideline. There's no margin for error there because he had no room to fade out. He was already on the short side of the field, and he tried to throw a jump ball to his man, and his man was unable to come in. It was well defended, so give credit to the defender. I can't pick up his number from this far across the field, but one way or another, it was a good defensive play by the Grizzlies to bring up his 2nd down and long.
I believe it's Malloy on that side of the field, in fact, that's set up in that deeper position. You see him at the top left corner of your screen for 2nd and 10. Last play of the 3rd quarter. Allen Throwing up the middle. In traffic, nearly picked off by Malloy.
Should have been picked off by Malloy. They were playing, it looked like a cover 2 man. They had man coverage across the board, especially on the inside slots, but they still had 2 high safeties. And the one high safety came off and undercut what should have been an interception on the final play of the quarter. And it's going to bring us to 15 minutes left with the same score as the half at 26-0, Justin.
After 3 quarters of play, the Fratmen lead 26-0. We'll be back on Wheat Digital Productions after these quick messages. Welcome back, everyone, to Alumni Field in the Road City, Windsor, Ontario. For more coverage of OFC action, the Fratmen lead 26-0. Here for Week 1 action, Justin Prince Quaz here on We Digital Productions. Fratmen getting set for 3rd and 10. Will go for it. As mentioned, both lawn snappers, their main and backup players out in this matchup. Allen will set up for the 3rd and long. Throwing. Feeling pressure to Hayes Williams, complete. But not enough yards gained to reach the sticks, I believe. Yes, at the 23. Needed to get to the 18, but
Yeah, and I think maybe a little bit more patience from Colton. As he broke the pocket here, he didn't need to throw that. He needs to know he's not going to get the first down, even if that ball's completed. Keep expanding and extending that play. Keep rolling out, rolling out, rolling out. And even if you ran the ball and you don't get it, it's no different than that pass. By rolling out, you extend the play. Every team has scramble rules, especially to the quarterback's strong arm. Somebody might have been expanding vertical, and if they were able to hit it over the top, maybe you get the play, touchdown, a pass interference. But on that throw there, you weren't going to get the first down. Evidence of the completion was there, actually. So.
Either way, that's going to give the Grizzlies the ball back at the 23-yard line. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Had a strong defensive stand despite the long possession times in that 3rd quarter. But now set up a minute into the 4th. Starting on the ground this time, Abdullah gained up a couple, tackled at about the 25. We've seen Abdullah get the ball a decent amount of times, just has not gotten those big bursts from the backfield yet.
Yeah, the only time he had a big run was called back on a offsides by a receiver, so that was a big mistake earlier. But I don't mind the play call. I know they only pick up 2 yards, and I know they're down 26, and the clock's against them, obviously, with us being in the 4th quarter already. But going forward at the end of the season, you want to be able to say, hey, it's the 4th quarter. I can run the ball, and I can get critical first downs down the way. I don't think the Week 1 game win or loss is going to necessarily define your whole season. It could, but battle back, stay in your game plan, and I think that's okay by the coaches.
Quick throw to Clarkin on 2nd down. And tackled at the 30-yard line. That is 4 yards short of the sticks, though. 3rd and 4.
And I'm okay if they punt here. You're in the ball game still. You're still playing your every down, every distance. Trust it. It looks like that they're keeping the quarterback on. At first, it looked like the punt team was running on. But now, here we go. Now the full change is coming up. The offense has left the field, so they're going to bring the punter on.
And mark it as a 3rd and 3. Either way, it's at the 30-yard line for the punt. Baines has seen a lot of work today. Was in the top 35 in the national rankings for junior football in the country. Well, now set up for the punt as the last of the players come off the field. Again, McCraney and Lewis now set to return. Nearly blocked to the punt. Wynn blows it off, and off it goes to the 46. And that was it, that wind, I think, factoring in. That's been so gusting strong, it blew it basically dead midair.
Yeah, and you know what? All in all, though, good kick. The punt had a net gain of 0, and ultimately, anytime you can negate any kind of return, it's a good thing, especially with the success McCraney's had. They kicked away from him, and they kicked in the direction of Dante Lewis. Dante did not get his hands on the ball. You did manage to at least breach your own half and get the ball into the Fratmen side of the field. So maybe a quick 2 and out. Maybe you can do something with the one possession and at least score somehow. But stay in your game plan. I'm okay with the way they're battling back and have come back to sort of keep this in grasp, if you will.
1st and 10 at the 47. Allen going on the run, brought down to the 54. So a gain of maybe 6 or 7 makes it 2nd and short.
All right, good quick decision by Colton. He came off it, but he saw a seam right away. He was able to pick up a quick 6. I'm okay. His eyes stayed down the field. That wasn't a terrible decision. I like the fact that he made it very immediate.
2nd and 3 now on the play.
And now it looks like Coach LaChance has opted to go to his Rhino package, his big boys, because I see some heavy bodies checking in right now. So he might be thinking, hey, I'm going to take 2 cracks at this with this big heavy crew.
2nd time we've seen the package today. So Jalen Butcher will set up under center with some of our big boys setting up in the backfield, including Jordan Krug. Butcher hands it up. Snap is dropped. Ball is dropped. Picked up by the Grizzlies. And they'll pick up possession at about the 48-yard line. So an interesting call there.
And I know what Coach LaChance is doing with the call. He knows they need to practice their short yardage. And in situations like 2nd down and 3, you're at midfield. You're okay with giving it a crack. But there obviously has some work to be done, because now last time they did not get the yards to gain, and this time there was an exchange issue, as it looked like it was number 52 for the Fratmen, Josh Allen, who mishandled the handoff from Jalen Butcher, and the Fratmen are just lucky that the defender who recovered the fumble's knee was down, because if not, it was going for a touchdown, and the game would have dramatically changed if they would have got a quick defensive score there.
Now the question's going to be, can the Grizzlies capitalize? Again, great field position, marked at the 49 after the knee down, about a third of the way through the 4th quarter. Morrison calling the shots at quarterback, a quick adjustment on the left side. Hands it off to Abdullah, straight into the offensive line. Ball might be down to the ground.
The ball is definitely out, and it looks like the Fratmen have recovered it, and that is indeed the indication. Right back, they gave it right back to him, and it looked like it was just a bad exchange. I think Malachi just reached a little bit too much and never put it in the breadbasket. I think it came right off the running back's hips. If we can get a replay on that, it might just show us that the ball came out and there was not a clean mesh. Yeah, see, it never got inside the breadbasket. It stayed on that right hip of Minka Abdullah, and maybe Abdullah was thinking, hey, you should have pulled this because it looked like a read option. Anyway, you add it together, bad mesh, turnover, and right back where we started 2 minutes ago with a 1st down and the Fratmen at around midfield.
The reason I said may is it happened so quickly that you don't expect that to be kind of that direction. Back-to-back fumble plays give the Fratmen back the ball. Prayer goes across the 1st down chains to about the 46.
And that's a solid run. Every time I coach and work with my running backs, I always try to tell them, drive your feet and keep climbing. Stay on your track. His track was a slight off-tackle stretch type play, and he kept climbing. Before you know it, he picks up 14 yards, and he's now on the opponent's 51-yard line.
Ball marked down at the 46, maybe 45.5-yard line for 1st and 10. Fratmen again chugging along. Prayer running to the right side. Shuts off one tackler. Brought down by 3 defenders. for another decent game, just short of the sticks this time.
And
In
this
fact,
is the advantage for the offensive lineman on a hot day. The defense gets tired. The offense, we can now lean on them with a little bit of weight. We don't have to drive as long and sustain our blocks as long. You see a quick seam there. Nash is able to beat the guy into the hole from the first level, and before you know it, he's already into the secondary, and you got safeties coming up to make the tackle with another almost 14-yard gain.
That's going to move it to the 31 this time by. Allen slowly brings up the offense with 8:35 to go. Prier, third straight run. This time in the backfield, however, for a loss of a couple. And that time it looked like the defense was ready. The pressure coming from Javon Miller that time.
Yeah, and it looked like number 11, Paul Mravik, was also somewhere in the backfield. And, of course, they're going to start sensing run. We got some bodies down, knees. You got guys on knees. It's a hot day. It looks like there's two Grizzlies actually down, one with their helmet off and one with their helmet still on. But it is a warm one out there, and leaning on them. The defense has probably played, I'd say, 50 snaps by now. So this Grizzlies defense is very tired.
And as the player continues to get checked out on the field, the Windsor Spitfires have single-game tickets now available for the 2019-20 OHL season. Fans can purchase tickets online at windsorspitfires.com, wfcu-center.com, or at the WFCU Center box office. The season starts September 21st at home against the Peterborough Petes. 8:14 now to go. 2nd and 12 is the play now on the field for the Fratmen. They've had a very strong start to the 2019 season. Yes, some negatives, but have been in control offensively into the possession game much of the day. Allen trying to hand it off, and that was right to Prier, who was in the middle of a defensive mosh pit for the loss of about a few.
Yeah, and this time Mark Straw had nothing to do with it. He saw the running back set deep right away, and he went straight at him right away. And you saw on the replay, that's 44 who read that right off the get-go. 100% flat out read that, and it ate that up, and that turned into a big loss there. So I'm not sure if they're going to actually try to punt with this 3rd and forever. It doesn't look like it. Like we said, the concern is they're out of long snappers. So the Fratmen are going to take a timeout here, let their guys catch their wind. With 7:17 left in the game, unless something dramatic happens, the Fratmen are pretty comfortably ahead and look like they're going to get the W in this opening game. But they have some things on film that they're going to look at to try to work out. They're going to look at some of the protection packages to make sure their quarterbacks don't get beat up.
Indeed, for sure, a lot to look at here. Today's game is presented by Harold Remark and Royal Page Buying and Real Estate. With more than 20 years of experience, Harold can help you find your perfect home or property. Contact Harold today by phone at 519-733-1028 or view his current listings at royalpagebinder.com. Again, still under timeout here with 7:17 to go in the 4th quarter here in Windsor, Ontario at Alumni Field. Fratmen continue with the ball, and they will go for it on 3rd and 19. Have to see what Coach LeChance drew up. Was going over the playbook with Allen just before the snap here.
Yeah, I don't think you call a play 3rd and no one has a 3rd and 19 in their playbook. Just call a regular play. Call a play, execute it. If you get the first down, it's a bonus. But just execute at this point in time.
We'll see how they execute on 3rd down. Allen intercepted up the middle. Davian Brathwaite this time pushed out of bounds. One of the top 50 players in the country in junior football gets the interception, 2nd of the day by the Grizzlies.
And that was not the execution they were looking for. Again, I'm not sure. It looked like there were 2 receivers on top of each other in the same level, and it is. Like, I don't know what 87 is doing, and I'll get the number right now. That's
Bayless.
Ethan Bayless, and it looked like it was Dante Lewis. They were 2 yards apart from each other in the depth perspective. somebody did something wrong there that drew coverage under and over. So the quarterback was ill-advised to throw that, but two receivers on top of each other on those crossing routes is not the design of the play. So you have an execution issue, you have a route running issue, you have concerns with the depth of the routes. There was 3-4 problems there, and I know Coach LaChance is going to pull his hair out looking at that on film.
Yeah, and I think you can count technically a fifth with Bayless not expecting that to even go the direction. Abdullah up the middle on the rush on 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies.
To the Fratmen credit, their defense has been stout against that run. There's been hands on Abdullah instantly. I mean, almost every time he gets the ball within a yard of the line of scrimmage, there are hands and hats on him. And those hands and hats are indeed going to make him feel exceptionally tired after this one, because the dozen or so carries he's had, he's been hit by multiple players every single down. Credit to that stout force unit by the Fratmen.
Yeah, that time they only allowed just about a yard for 2nd and 9 with 6 minutes to go in the 4th. Grizzlies looking to get forward. This time going to the air, nearly intercepted again. Incomplete. Michael Worku in the area this time for 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and probably should have been intercepted. Again, an underthrown ball. Based on all the evidence shown today, I just don't think Malachi has that strong of an arm. And I know he's throwing into the wind, but he hasn't really thrown anything over the top other than maybe that first one of the game early where they went vertical and he actually overthrew. Beyond that, everything else has been underthrown severely, and it's cost it didn't cost them this time, but it should have.
And it looks like they're going to try and go for it here with just 5 minutes to go. See if they can do something, anything at this point. Just inside Fratmen territory. Going to throw and bat it down quickly. And that will give the turnover on downs and the ball back to the Fratmen.
And I think that was 29 Brendan Bondy who got his hand up, and we'll see here on the replay. And indeed, that was the case. It looks like they bring the defensive end off the left edge, and for whatever reason, the protection slid away from him, and he was able to walk up that left edge unblocked. He got his hands up quickly, reading the eyes and arm of the quarterback. Good job not following through, because if he would have followed through and hit the quarterback in the head, it's an automatic foul. Now that he eliminated the follow-through, the batted ball stands, and now the Fratmen have the ball, who they've been sluggish this 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, the 2nd half, and they have not put any points up. I know Coach LaChance is going to want to find the end zone here just to get some positives going into the last few minutes of the game.
4:37 to go, 1st and 10, ball at the 54. Lewis on the end around, tries to go to the sticks, gets boomed instead, maybe for a 2nd and 1.
Becoming very popular, this little pop pass. And that actually is a pass, so there's no risk of a fumble, which I like the concept. You'll see the ball is just sort of flipped to Dante Lewis along just in front of the quarterback along the parallel to the line of scrimmage, and he picked up a good 9 yards there. So now you see the Fratmen bringing Jalen Butcher in again with their Rhino package, which has been 0 for 2 so far. Now let's see if they're going to practice, and this is Coach LaChance saying, hey, I'm head-bent to run this play successfully once, or this package once. We're going to bring our heavies in, and we got to be able to convert this. This has to be 100% success rate, unquestionably.
One time lost yards at the line of scrimmage. The next time, again, that was on the handoff to Josh Allen, had the fumble picked up by the Grizzlies. But a whistle be for the play.
Yeah, and Coach LaChance calls a timeout, uses his last timeout now in this half, or in this game, excuse me. And probably just to make sure the personnel are all set.
3:39 to go with the timeout. And as we continue on, once again, today's game is presented by Nonus Athletic Incorporated. Since 1946, Nonus has been Windsor's sporting equipment specialist. Their knowledgeable and experienced football experts will fit you with the gear you need. Visit them at their showroom at 2020 Tecumseh Road West, or call 519-252-5705 to find the perfect equipment for you and your sports. 2nd and 1 as the Rhino package gets all set to go here. Oh, this time forward, this time successful. And a big gain of about 5+ yards.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. And I know that's Coach LaShawn saying, keep it simple, stupid. Make sure we lean forward, we get the linemen going forward, we push the pile forward, and at the end of the day, you get to 5, 6, 7 yards. But whenever you're first, second, third, and short, depending on the situation, you could be first and goal from the 1 yard line. You need to score every single time. You shouldn't have to get to second or third down. You need to make sure your heavy packages are in, your sneaks, your wedges, your rhinos, as Coach LaShaw's called, whatever you call it, you have to convert and one every time.
Now under 3 minutes to go with that. That's 1 for 3 with the Rhino package for those keeping track at home. Mayu, empty backfield. Quick throw to Lewis. Instead reaches his feet, incomplete.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was deflected at all. It just looked like it was Straw again, who was in the backfield, number 44. They have had a hard time accounting for him most of the game. He has been their best player. Nope, it just looked like it was an errant throw. Ball was just down.
Maybe didn't get the best grip on the ball. You seen him waving his hand actually after the throw.
Yeah, but most big quarterbacks, and this is a big quarterback, they don't need the seams or anything like that. The ball's in their hands. They got strong enough hands, big enough hands that the ball needs to travel 12 yards. It didn't go 12 yards.
Inside the 3-minute warning with under 3 to go. Mayu, 2nd and 10. Bullets this one down the sideline. Dropped by Ryan, incomplete. And that could have been a touchdown once more.
Should have been. No, that's a drop. You got a big, tall receiver who gets good separation. Maybe he flips his hands and gets his hands over the top. I know some receivers coaches prefer if you can get your hands up over your head as opposed to the basket catch. Maybe that's something that Coach LaShawn will look at. Either way, it was a drop. It should have been caught, and it should have been a touchdown. But we bring up a third down situation, and they're going to go for it once again.
At the 40-yard line with 2:23 is left on the clock for the Fratmen. Mayo brings 3 receivers forward. Looking to pass once more. Steps up in the pocket. Goes for the scramble. Trying to go for the sticks. Hit it about the 30-yard line. And this could be close.
I think he's got it. I think he did the John Elway helicopter site type of play, and that has already indicated that it is a first down. So good on Mayu to try to pick up that first down. Now, me being the coach and asking myself, do I want to see my quarterback get hit hard this late in the game that we're going to win? No. But fortunately, he didn't get hurt. I like the toughness.
And it also extends the drive once more to the 29-yard line. They say got it on that 11-yard scramble. Riem, the running back, on 1st and 10, goes on the ground. Chugs forward. Loses his helmet either way. Brought down at the chains, the 19.
Yeah, and that was a good first down run. It looks like he picked up about 10 on the number, but because his helmet came loose, he has to leave the field here, and this was good, hard run. He obviously came under his own power, but league rules say that once your helmet gets dislodged, unless it was pulled off by a defender, you have to come off the field for 3 plays, so David will not be allowed to re-enter the game for 3 plays in total.
And that means we're going to see Nash Prayer back into the backfield. Going to sprint for the block instead on 1st down. Drop by McCraney. That'll bring it to 2nd and 10.
Yeah, unenthused play there. It didn't look like the receivers were being super aggressive. It didn't look like Dan really turned and set his feet properly. And it didn't look like McCraney attacked the ball. So that just looked like an unenthused play late in the game. It's just a little bit of laziness, a little bit of maybe tiredness, knowing full well a minute 20 left in the game, you're going to win the game. To me, it's probably just fatigue more than anything else.
Even then, though, he's had a player of the game type of performance, some may say.
Absolutely.
2nd and 10, Prayer tackled in the backfield quickly for no gain on the rush.
Yeah, and that was a nice knifing play by Tony Armanius, the defensive lineman, who looked like he just beat the center flat out on the play. Maybe the center was expecting some help from his guard, but either way, he knifed through and chopped out Nash. Maybe got a half yard.
3rd and 10 coming up. Make it 3rd and 9. Once again, going to go for it as the clock continues to wind down here. Fratmen snap for what could be one of the final offensive snaps of the game. 3 receivers back in the motion for Mayu. Looking to throw. To the edge, incomplete. That time intended for Bayless as the Grizzlies will get the ball back with under a minute to play.
Yeah, but even if it's completed, that's a 3-yard route with coverage easily from behind him being able to come up. I'd like to see him go through his read progressions a little bit more. I'm sure there should have been 3 levels. I'm sure there was somebody over the top of that where he could have maybe tried, a minute left in the game, try to force one over the top. It gets picked off in the end zone. It picked off in the end zone. I'm okay with him trying an aggressive play at this juncture of the game, trying to get the first down rather than, well, I'm just going to dump this off. And it was a bad throw on top of it. So learning, again, you got a young quarterback. They're both young quarterbacks. They're going to learn with every week, but they're clearly better than they were last year. I can confidently say that.
56 seconds to go with the Grizzlies back with the ball here at the 18-yard line, looking to have a positive to end off this matchup. This time going to the ground quickly for a gain of maybe half a yard for 2nd down. But as this clock winds down here, you mentioned a lot to look at the tape here as you look at this play. What else would you be looking at from here on out as this game reaches its final stages?
Well, number one, you just want to make sure no one gets hurt right now. I know there were a couple injuries on both sides. It didn't look like anyone actually left the game for the Grizzlies and did not return, which is a positive. I know the Fratmen had a couple people leave, now more precautionary, at least it's my understanding, than anything else. But what you don't want to have right now is anything stupid. It looks like they're going to blow this game dead. The referees look like they've come together. The sticks are coming across the field, which fortunately, I prefer this mindset. They've already reset the clock to zeros. Teams are going to concede. They're going to take knees, and now it looks like we're at an official close of the game.
Yes, indeed. The final score, 26 Fratmen, nothing for the Grizzlies. They start the season 1-0, while GTA drops to 0-1 to start 2019. After the break, Dom Pop will have your post-game coverage. He'll be with Brandon McCraney, along with the head coach of the AKO Fratmen, Mike LaChance, here on We Digital Productions. Once again, score 26-0 the final here from Alumni Field to start the season 1-0.
Do your Sundays need a little adventure? How about the Roundabout Trolley Tour? Originating from the Roundhouse Center in Windsor, the tour includes lunch, beverage tastings, and dessert. Boarding from the Roundhouse Center at 11:15 a.m. on select Sundays, you can spend the day touring Paglioni Estate Winery, GL Heritage Brewing Company, and Wolfhead Distillery. Returning to the Roundhouse Center by 5:30 p.m., you're sure to have the best fun-filled Sunday afternoon. Book online at wetrolley.com. Life is about the ride, so get on and trolley on.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged.
No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berman, drive the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and stops it behind the net. Marksman wipes it right in front, pocket, shoots. Oh, and what a save!
You're watching We Digital.
Welcome back to Alumni Field, our post-game report. The AKO Fratmen successful in their season debut against the GTA Grizzlies. They win it 26-0. Joining us on the post-game report, one of the star players of today's game, no doubt about it, Brandon McCraney, the second-year player with the Fratmen. Thanks for doing this, Brandon, and give me your thoughts quickly about the game today, what you thought the team did well.
We came out ready. We had a game plan, came out strong. I think just came out strong overall.
Of course, you are part of a strong receiving core. There's a lot of depth there. Getting balls is going to be at a premium. Obviously, you guys can really push each other and make each other better.
Yeah, like any of our guys out there, just ready to go. Probably outmatch anybody out there on defense.
Okay, talk to me about the team this year and your thoughts about it. Last year you make it to the finals. Do you sense that the team may be a little bit better than last year and can get back to that final game?
Yeah, I think we came back more improved. Got a lot of returning guys, got some new guys out there. Yeah, we came back strong, really strong this year.
All right. Of course, it's a game at a time. Next week you look scheduled to play Ottawa right now. Just a game at a time, I would imagine?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
You think down the road? Are you thinking everything?
Nah, we outmatch anybody.
All right, I like it, Brandon. Good game today. Congratulations. Our player of the game, Brandon McCraney. We're going to bring in the coach, Mike LaChance, now to talk to us about the game. Congratulations on the victory, Coach. I know I've been talking to you for years now, so I know where this is going to go. I'm not even going to suggest anything. Tell us what you thought today.
You know what? That's an athletic team, and we've always talked about it every year. We match up with them, and we see them in warm-ups, and we're like big, strong, fast, athletic, and they showed it again today. They actually played a great defense against us. They had a too high look, and it took some of our speed away in the outback. We couldn't run a lot of verticals with that, but we adjusted well. We ran the ball. I thought Nash Pure had a great game today. And we have a lot of new guys on that O-line up front, so a lot of our audible situations were impressive that we stayed with it. When backups rolled in, we had some errors in the second half, and it showed we kind of slowed down a little bit. But hot day, early 26-0, we'll take it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a good victory and a good way to start. No question about that. You mentioned the O-line. Of course, there's a few question marks. Not a lot. This is a quality team. Make no mistake about it. The Fratmen are built to win. But did you get some of the questions answered, or at least did you get some good insight as to where you need to put the extra work in?
Yeah, and I mean, we knew that offensive line, everybody wants more. So no matter how many you have, you could have 12, you want 14. If you have 14, you want 18, so on and so forth. We've got 7, 8 guys right now. We need more guys. We got a couple new guys coming on Monday, and we're recruiting as we go. We're going to pound that position. O-line, D-line really is the way that championship at the end of the year, and we need to add to that group. We're certainly fast enough everywhere else, so just need to get a little bigger.
Obviously, you alluded to it here, Coach LaChance. Toronto GTA really played for your speed. They played the defense, set the defense for the speed. How will you combat that? I mean, most teams are going to figure this out and say, we got to cut down that speed. But do you have other weapons, other areas that you can maybe go and change some of the thinking?
Yeah, we got to get better at obviously our run game's got to be there. We've got to make people respect the running game. I thought we did a good job of it in the first half. They still didn't come out of the dime. We probably could have ran the ball more in the second half, but I was trying to develop some of the mid-range passing that's what we have to get better at. We have to get better at those chunk yardage plays. So those 12 to 18s, we got to hit a little bit more consistently.
What is this game rate? I mean, this is, I think, your 18th year
Yep.
coaching here. Boy, oh boy, 18 years.
Yeah.
And I remember you as a player. It's just like it was yesterday. But where does this game rate as far as first games?
No major injuries and a victory. That's all that matters. I told you, it's style points. You don't get an extra half win for looking great. So a win's a win. You just put them together and you try to put 8 and then show yourself up in the playoffs. So.
Good stuff, Coach. Off to a
Thank
good
you.
start. Good luck next week.
Thanks, Bob.
Head coach Mike LaChante's doing a good job with his Fratmen here. Of course, they get the OFC schedule a very positive note, winning 26-0 over the GTA Grizzlies. Right now, the Fratmen are scheduled next week to be on the road. They'll travel to its capital to take on the Ottawa Sooners. And in a couple of weeks back here on August 31st, that's when the Fratmen will play their second home game in week number 3. The Niners are scheduled to be in town, 7 p.m. kickoff. Of course, we'll have all the action for you right here on We Digital Productions. So on behalf of Justin Prince, Badia Quas, the outstanding crew working behind the scenes here at We Productions, we are definitely thankful that you tuned in today. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Come back in a couple of weeks and we'll have more great OFC football action for you. On behalf of everybody here, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great day. Take care.